We have a very live.
It feels like we're here right now doing it. You know what I mean?
With an audience watching,
Exactly.
even though they're not here. They're not here at all.
Yeah.
We are rolling. So
Are we?
it says we're recording. Does it say on your end?
It says recording on my end.
Recording? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
See, this whole time I was like pronouncing it wrong.
I don't know, man. I think
It's
we're
like
on
the
two
word,
different modes, man.
It's like the word reprise, which is spelled reprise.
It's not reprise?
Oh, it's not. See, now you learned it.
What?
Was I saying it wrong this whole time?
My whole life?
Press start.
Hey, this is Current Gen Podcast, episode 126. My name's Jeff, and I'm joined by Kyle and Dan, who said he was down to join early, didn't actually acknowledge the time that we said we would meet. So that's a little bit on both of us, because I just assumed he would just read it eventually and join.
This is actually all part of a long, calculated plan to get all these current gen old school people out of here and you and I to take over this cast.
Yes.
It's now, there is no current gen. That's a way.
There is literally no current gen. We are now back with Kyle and I as There Is No Podcast, which is an old podcast we started up.
All of you listened to it. I know you did.
2015, we started that up.
Yeah.
That was like when the first episode. I remember that. I explicitly remember that because we were going. Our first episode was like, let's talk about our favorite movies from 2014. That's why I remember that. That's why I remember 2015. And then I think
I remember that too. Yeah.
I think we did that for a couple years, and then we had JD on, and then we turned into another podcast.
And then we got lazy, and then we got
and then we somehow tricked these guys into letting us on their show, and now we're at the point where it's a hostile takeover.
We take it. They're out of here. Yeah. Like Tim was on vacation, you know. Yep. Dan is MIA. Derek quit. I don't know. Y'all just did a Spoilercast.
We did a Spoilercast on As Dusk Falls, which we both like. It sounds like he liked it more than me, but he didn't like the last chapter. I liked the last chapter more than he liked it.
He liked the indie game more than you.
Yeah. It kind of blew my mind.
All right.
But both of us rated it about the same. Both of us rated it like he rated it like 8.5 out of 10. I went 8 out of 10.
Okay.
And that's a genuine. It's not like I hated it, but 8 out of 10. It's not like that. It's a genuine 8 out of 10.
Sure. It's a real 8 out of 10 using actual numbers.
Right. Where we have flaws, and we actually we what we perceived as flaws with the game, and we talked it out what that was, what we felt that was, and we had different criticisms of the game. Like he was like,
interesting.
Some parts were slow moving, and I didn't feel any of that at all. You know, because I watch shows like Better Call Saul, which is one of the slowest shows on the planet, but it's just brilliant.
I agree.
It's so brilliant. Like every step of the way.
How is it so intense if it's slow? You
know
what I mean? I feel like I'm sweating a lot versus slowly play slow.
Right.
Yeah, deliberate.
Exactly. So I mean, it's kind of like that. So I didn't really think of it as a slow thing. But for me, it was more like the art style was a little inaccessible. Those type of criticisms that I voiced before.
Yeah.
Anyway, go check out the Spoilercast if you've played the game and you want some thoughts, and we talk about some theories with the ending, because the ending is a cliffhanger. So we do have quite a few theories that we talk about that are I feel are very interesting, and I think there's a Reddit already for the game that is kind of blown up with theories too.
Okay.
About the ending. It's like a murder mystery at the end too. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Potentially murder. We don't know yet. We didn't really see a lot, so just kind of ended. Anyway, so today is just a regular ass episode. I'm not going to do a fancy quiz. I don't really know how to do any of that. I don't know how to ask questions.
I don't know how to answer them, so that's perfect.
And you are doing how?
I
see what I mean? I can't.
What? I do well? Question mark. I answer your question with a question. Well,
I'm sure there's a foreign language out there that does phrase their questions like that. You know, where almost every Germanic language is like question, verb, noun. I'm sure there's a language out there that's like, noun, verb, and then like the question part like way later. I don't know.
I'm too dumb for this conversation.
Yeah, you know what? Let's philosophize more about other languages that are not English.
Yeah, and grammar in general.
Yeah, exactly.
We all see how I type. That's not my forte.
I don't know. The people don't know that. The people don't know that listening or watching.
People know that. I comment on Facebook all the time. They're like, "Look at this asshole spelling this wrong again. He's got 17 edits on one post." You know.
Well, you're a verbal Shakespeare, if that counts for anything.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I say nice words, but just they say come out wrong like in something sometimes.
Sometimes they do. Yes. For me as well. So I wanted to get into. I'm going to take a book out of what a good pro wrestling booker would do. I'm going to take a book out of that, chapter out of that, whatever, a page out of that book, whatever, where they.
Wait, is this a shoot or a work?
This is a work. Hold on a second.
Wait, hold on there, dude. Hold on.
So, I wanted to actually start with one of what I consider our main events of the show, and that's Xenoblade Chronicles 3, because I think Dan hasn't played it.
Oh, this is a good thing to start on, yeah.
He's being stubborn about wanting to play.
I admire his conviction, you know, just, put it towards something more important. No, I'm kidding. I totally get, I have dumb rules. You and I have waxed poetic about dumb rules that we put on our list that we make, you know. Like rules that I feel like if I would say out loud to normal people, they'd be like, what are you doing? Like, why are you doing this to yourself? I'm like, I don't know, man. I just like to overthink stuff, you know?
Yeah, it's just fun.
So I get it, you know. But I think I'm the only one playing it. Derek, I think, might join us next week to talk about it, is kind of what the vibe I got, but we'll see. Maybe he'll have more stuff to say next week. I got about let's say 3 hours, but it's 2 hours on my game time because my game actually crashed. And tip number 1, this game's autosave system is not good. So just save.
Oh no.
Just say I lost like 45 minutes to an hour of work. It's fine. It's not a big deal. I've never seen a game like crash like this on the Switch before, where it goes to a black screen. It's like, hey, sorry, your app died, you know. And I'm like, I've literally never seen.
Yeah, I mean,
ever. Yeah, but this game is pretty taxing, I know, and there might be an update or two. And I've had no other issues besides that one crash, you know. So not a big deal. I deal with crashes all the time on PS5. Not a huge deal, man.
If anything, that's the console I deal with it the most.
I'm not writing, you know, the devs and sending them penis pics and stuff like that to share my.
You better fix your game. Here's my wiener.
Yeah, here's my wiener. Here, fix your game. You know, I'm not doing that like the internet likes to do. Sorry, God of War team. I'm sorry. Sorry for all of us gamers. I'm just sorry. I'm really enjoying this game a lot, man. You know, I have a love-hate relationship with this series because it is like, is obtuse the right word? Like it's just a weird way to get around. You know what I mean? Sometimes they'll just kind of tell you where you need to go. Sometimes even a waypoint, but there's so much verticality you don't really know how to get there. And it puts a damper in an already 100+ hour game on making progress. And like for me, like I need my time respected a little more, you know. Mm-hmm. If I'm gonna get into a game and I'm gonna spend a few hours, you know, I want to make progress. I don't want to spend 3 hours going like, I can see the waypoint, but I don't know what cave I need to go into to get there, you know.
Yeah.
This game has none of those problems. There is a button you press that just puts a GPS marker down at your feet, and it just walks you to the side quest that you're doing, the main quest that you're doing, anything like that. So
that's amazing.
I know that like people like there's a lot of hardcore gamers out there that just like, oh, I hate this handhold. I don't care, man. I'm gonna be 40 here in a few years, dude. Like add all the hand holding accessibility stuff that you need to, man. I'm gonna put it all on.
At this point, you know? I feel like you and I are gonna have the same outlook on 40, where after 40 we're gonna be like, I don't have time for any of this crap.
I'm playing everything on easy and everything's auto aim on all the first person shooters. I don't give a shit, you know. But no, I
want to beat a game in 3 hours or it's not getting played.
Yeah, you better not release a 100-hour game and have obtuse, you know, transport controls.
Right.
Anyways, I'm really enjoying it, man. The music's really good. Like I feel like the battle theme when it kicks in, it's lots of flutes and piano. I'm just a sucker for both of those instruments. And then they'll layer on some guitar and maybe add some violin. Like it grows as the battle goes longer. It grows more complex, the song. Mm-hmm. And I just really like that. It's a really nice attention to detail. The combat system's good. You know, I have some things I need to work on in terms of understanding like the topple feature, because it's ATB gauge related. So that means it's not fully turn-based, it's not fully full action. So what that means is it's like Final Fantasy 12, which probably doesn't mean a lot to you, Jeff, but like that, it's like, think of MMO, you know, like you put your character near another bad guy, he'll automatically just attack, and you're waiting to use a special, if you will, or a signature move, and that has a cooldown bar, not unlike, Final Fantasy VII Remake or something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is about positioning. So it's all about like, hey, this move attacks more or hits harder if you're on the side or in the back or on the front, or maybe they're flying and you use one of those moves. So like it's all about positioning yourself and using the right move. And there's this topple mechanic where you go to 3 different stages of dazed and topple. And once you get them through that 3rd stage and they fall down, you're just wailing on them and causing a lot of extra damage and stuff like that. So it's really involved. You're not just sitting there like watching the action kind of unfold and stuff like that. Like you're really moving your character around and doing some interesting stuff. And that's how the combat's always been in this series. So
I was gonna say I did play like a couple hours of the first one when the remastered one came out, and I was like, oh, the combat hasn't really changed since that. I
Not
mean,
really.
They might have added some stuff to it.
There's some quality of life stuff there. I feel like I am missing pieces of how to get to that 3rd stage of toppling people. I was doing really well, then I switched my arts around, and now I'm not doing so well. Arts are your specials, so I need to go back to the drawing board or maybe just read the tutorial again or something like that. There are 1,000 tutorials in this game. And the HUD is so busy. Like there's just so much information, but there's ways to toggle stuff off, So it's like, I don't need to see what my mission objective is right now. I know where I'm going. Let me take that off, But if you have everything up and going, like it's a really busy screen, which can be kind of nauseating, I guess. But I'm
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Especially on a small screen if you're playing handheld, you got all these boxes and like numbers going around everywhere, So. But it's nice that you can toggle that stuff off. I'm really enjoying it, man. I'm only 3 hours in. I don't get a real big feel for what the story is yet. I will say it's dark already. Like, these kids are given the essence of life from a queen of their sector that they live on into already, like, I guess 10-year-old body husks or something like that. And then they live for an additional 10 years. So, like, you are born into a 10-year-old body, all right? You start getting trained for war.
That's right. You guys were talking about this.
It's really weird. You start getting trained. You start getting trained for war. You battle, and you're supposed to die during this process. But if you don't, if you make it to 10 years or age 20 or whatever, you get sent. Like what's a good? Final Fantasy X Yuna. For the people listening out there, Jeff, for you, like it's like a Viking, death or a Viking ceremony where you're like playing a flute and like their essence and soul goes to Valhalla, if you will, to kind of make it more understandable. But that essence is like the queen essence. The thing about these essences and the soul is that's what powers the weapons of mass destruction in this universe. So anytime these kids are just being born to be thrown into battle as cannon fodder to die. So their souls are released to power these like giant mech machines, and those are the real fighters in this giant war or whatever. So it's just this story about like these teenagers who know that their destiny is just to be born and die. And how they all grew up together, and they're all going through boot camp together, and they all go to war together. And it's dark, dude. Like it's about child soldiers and death and accepting death and stuff like that. And it's
about
wild,
the industrial war complex too. Like
bro. Yeah.
It sounds like there's some of that to it too.
There is. I mean, your whole life is just living and fighting and living and fighting and stuff like that. Profiting for your sector. So I'm really enjoying it. I'll have a lot more to say next week, but this is the game I bought a Switch OLED for. Like I was thinking, I was like, well, do I need to upgrade my Switch? Like, am I gonna really get miles out of an OLED? And then Xenoblade got announced, and I was like, I think I'm gonna go out and buy one.
And then Bayonetta, no big deal in that one.
What? I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is either.
Platinum.
I just said words.
Is that even real?
I don't know what they mean. I don't even know if it's a game.
Like
I've just heard things about the cosplay. That's all I know.
This cosplay.
And what is that?
What is that?
So I at least wanted to get early impressions on Xenoblade, and I knew we'd at least. I knew you'd be probably the only one to be able to give those impressions this week. But hopefully next week it'll be a deeper dive. I've already put it in the notes as that. So if nobody delivers a deep dive, you know whose fault it is. It's not mine. Yeah. All right. So the other game, I didn't put a lot of time into it, and I'll get to why when we move to what the things we're watching. But I did my signature diddle on River City Saga 3 Kingdoms. Did you?
I put 2 hours into this as well. Yeah, please share your thoughts on this. I have some stuff to say about it too.
Dude, it's fun. It's what I was hoping for out of this out of this type of game, where like it's a River City game, so it's a side-scrolling beat 'em up, but there's RPG elements. meaning like leveling up your character, finding items, and spending those on power-ups and stuff, cooking, going to somebody and cooking crap for power-ups, stuff like that. So it's River City with RPG elements. And it's fun. I mean, it's fun. There's not, in my opinion, there's not a whole lot to it yet, but I'm so, like I said, it's a diddle.
These games are onions. Like more and more come out, and you're like, oh wow, what was just like a kick and punch button? Now I'm doing a lot of elaborate moves and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that in the beginning too. They show you the ropes a little bit, and they're like, by the way, you can do this, and you can do this, and you can do this. Like, they just kind of pile on. Yeah, they pile on that stuff.
And it's pretty accurate. You know, they're telling the story of three kingdoms, and it looks like you're real. I think you're Guan Yu, right? Do you remember?
I can't remember his name.
I might be wrong on that. Ooh. Sorry.
I think his name's in the description of the game. Let me.
Yeah, go ahead. But like you're part of like Liu Bei's crew, you know.
Kunio. Kunio is Kunio.
But what's his like? That's his like. They have two names. Like that's one name. And then like there's their actual historical name or whatever.
I didn't mean to play it full volume.
There it is.
I don't know why I still have my external speakers on.
Anyways, like all that stuff is pretty cool, you know. Like like it's just going through the story of
Guan Yu. You're right.
Guan Yu. Okay, yeah. I've played so many of these games. I should have just been confident. But there's no confidence here, Jeff. This is the story about the Yellow Turban Rebellion. So it's very early in what they call the Romancing the Three Kingdoms story. It's like the first chapter of that entire story. So if they really wanted to continue with these games, like there is, I don't know, like a 500 years of Chinese history that precede like this game that are all about those warring states, you know, or warring kingdoms.
This one is my understanding is, at least in the Steam description, that it's 6 chapters in this one.
Oh, cool.
So it goes from the Yellow Turban Rebellion to the Battle of Red Cliffs.
I didn't realize it. I thought it was just about the Yellow Turban Army. So that's maybe just the first chapter.
No, that's just and the description does call it 6 dense chapters, and I'm inclined to believe them.
Yeah, I believe that. Yeah. The Red Cliff. I mean, they made that movie, man. Red Cliff. You know, that's a very famous.
Really.
That's a famous battle. Yeah, that's a 2-parter movie. I forget who stars in it, but it came out during that wire fu international phase where like a lot of Chinese wire fu movies were coming like stateside, you know.
So like
House of Flying Daggers.
Yeah.
Like mid 2000s.
Yeah.
Like House of
Because Crouching Tiger was 2000, and then
this is like
House
post
of Flying Daggers was like 2004, and
this is post House of Flying Daggers. You know, I think there's two parts of Red Cliff. Great movie, man. I highly recommend it.
I gotta see that, because I mean I love the movies that came out like that around that time, like Hero, and Hero's just one of the best, dude.
Hero's a movie where like I don't remember like appreciating as much as I should have when I went back and I was like, oh, thematically and color wise, this movie's got a
it's like so good.
It is a movie lover's movie, and you know, even if you don't like wire fu, like just watching like the selection of color usage and stuff like that in that movie.
And it's very deliberate. And the story too of like being like, surprise, he's actually this. Like it's just that was so cool. And I think a more recent example, I guess, would be Shadow, the one that's like mostly in gray. And there's some wire fu in that and some really cool sword fights. Oh man. I don't know why we went into a tangent. This is what we did on the old podcast too. This
is it. You guys are experiencing this is why those episodes were 4 hours long, and
especially when we added JD, because we just go on sick tangents. It sounds like so we're both having fun with River City Saga. We'll probably just play that intermittently in between other games.
I think that's co-op. If it's online co-op, we should check that out together. I don't know if it's online though. I might just be local. So
damn it. Well, I'll come to you.
At $30, there better be online. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or there will be penis pictures sent to somebody. You know,
abusive.
I'm really circling the drain on that. I don't know.
Abusive penis pictures, and by that I don't mean my penis was abused. I mean, I'll be like, "F you, fix this game. Here's a dick," and that's that's
right. I feel like that's totally natural. Like, hey,
I'm here. I'm here.
Hey,
I'm here.
Hey Dan, you missed it. We talked about Xenoblade. So nothing to report there. It's apparently a horrible game, and
I hate it. I think it's stupid.
Kidding.
All right, job well done. See you later.
See you later.
Thanks for stopping in, man. I appreciate
then we talked about both Kyle and I barely played River City Saga. So did you play that one at all?
No,
or?
but I just want to apologize. I absolutely did miss the first part of that sentence.
No, man. We did not like see that you saw everything else, and we were just like, we're just gonna start at 7. So it's not your fault. We should have made sure everybody was on the same page.
Yeah, that was my bad. I just because I.
No, it was definitely my bad. Whatever. I just didn't notice that you said,
I should have waited until there was.
I'm super glad it's your two fault, not mine at all. That's
no, Kyle was just there to witness the fault being.
All right, well then in that case, we're just gonna blame Kyle now.
I am no. I'm the golden boy of the podcast. I'm the golden boy.
Right?
You're wearing a Batman shirt to an MCU.
In fact, I'm changing my name in our chat to Golden Boy right now.
To Golden Boy.
So Dan, you joined at the right time. Did you just finish Stray? Was that you that put that in the notes?
Yeah, I did. I didn't get a chance to play the River City. Sorry, what is it? River City
Saga.
Yeah, Saga.
So, Three Kingdoms. Yeah.
Okay, so that I have not played.
Three Kingdoms.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So that, but I did finish Stray. Yeah, it's a super adorable. I mean, like we pretty much said everything that needed to be said before, but I just emphasizing or re-emphasizing that it's a really cool world. The dystopian, like just kind of like post-apocalyptic, like what's the deal with these robot people, and like that mystery is really cool.
What's the deal? Can you say it differently? Can you say it differently for me?
Yeah. What's the deal with those robots?
Thank you. What's the deal with these kitty cats? You know, yeah.
They act like humans, but they're robots.
Like the cat can understand directions.
But yeah, like Tim had mentioned that like the actual like combat segments is pretty short, which it is. But it kind of adds like, because like you do that part and then you kind of go on to the next like area, and then like, you know, the story, the game doesn't go for too much longer after that point. Like that is actually what, like halfway through the game, I'd say. I don't know if you guys, have you gotten further or?
No, I've still only did like the first 30, 45 minutes and I haven't gone back yet. It's just, I don't know why As Dusk Falls like just hit the right buttons for me, because I just, we just finished The Quarry like not even a month ago. So that type of game was fresh on my brain and what ends up hooking me at the end of the day. So that's kind of just what I gravitated towards, at least seeing through the first time. So Stray was just like, it's a little slower paced, even though the world is really cool. And the thing you're playing as is super unique. I've never played as a cat before, like a straight up cat.
Sure.
So that's really rad. I just need to buckle down and play it. I know I'm going to end up loving it.
I mean, honestly, just dive back in. I think the mystery of like why it is that these robots are like in the slum area, and then you kind of like learn a bit more about like that sort of world that they're in, so to speak. And it just kind of keeps escalating because the cat's like, he's just on this freaking quest of, like, oh, he fell down into the slums. He got separated from his family. So like the basic, like he wants to get back to his family is sort of like the basic thing. But like, obviously what you're doing for most of the game is like, it's like way more than that. That's intrinsically tied to the robots. And then did you get to the part where I don't think this is a spoil. I swear it was in the trailers. There's a companion.
Yeah, I got the companion.
Okay. So like that ties in really well, and like the importance of that, and then right up until the end. So, all that is very cool. Yeah, it actually is pretty emotional too as you get towards the end. So.
Oh man, I'm a sap, so I'll probably just be like a ball of tears.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is there are numerous flaws, but you can't elaborate. Is that what you're saying to me?
Right. Yes, but also like an 8 or a 9 out of 10. So.
Okay. So many flaws.
Right.
I don't want to get into this conversation.
I don't want to get into it. But Kyle, cats, am I right?
Right, guys, cats. Egyptians love them, right?
Meow.
Cats are, right?
They kind of enjoyed them, right? That was
meow, 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 meow,
meow,
right?
Meow beans.
Don't say that too loud. My alert Goku.
He's like, I smell those cats.
So those are the only things that are in the notes. Does anybody else have anything that they were playing?
Sorry, hold on. I started
go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say Live Alive.
Oh yeah, but no.
Please tell me about Live Alive.
You started Live Alive.
Yeah, please tell me about this game.
Little.
How did it start? Did you get to choose your chapters? What did you choose?
Yeah, so I was actually I don't know if I was misinformed or I just didn't interpret it correctly. So in the demo, you can choose 3 specific timelines, those 3 specific characters. I thought that the game was divided into multiple chapters. It's not. So basically the demo was like a portion of that story, but like it's one and done, so to speak. So like when I bought the game, I wanted to do one of the other eras. So I was like, let me do near future because this looks cool. And by the way, it is because there's a mech in it, so that's pretty sweet.
It's always cool. Yeah.
Absolutely. So
yeah, of course.
It was going for a while, and I was waiting for that. Like, oh, you finished the chapter. Like, choose the next chapter or choose one of the other timelines. I was waiting for that, and like 3 hours in, 4 hours in, 5 hours in, I was like, what the hell's going on? And then I basically beat that story in about 5 hours.
Okay, so you choose a timeline and see it through. It's
Right.
not. It's not like Octopath Traveler.
Right, exactly, and that was the impression I was under because the demo almost kind of made it seem like
I
that
think
way.
we
like,
all, I mean, I don't mean to speak for the world, but I think we all
Sure.
thought it was a little bit like that.
I honestly thought that when you guys described the demo, I was like, oh, okay.
well, that's what I thought because it ends
Yeah.
and it was like, oh, I thought to me it was like, oh, I finished that chapter, then it'll be the next chapter. But it's like, no, the demo just ended, kind of like being like, all right, you're good now. Like you can hop back in when the game comes out.
And maybe you can't answer this because you're not in other stories yet, but like, is this one story or is this like 7 different stories?
Like
So
they're
it's
connected,
seven.
or-
No, so as far as I know, because I finished the near future one, they don't seem to be connected.
Okay.
Interesting.
So there's 7 right out the gate, and then once you beat the 7 of them, there's an 8th one you unlock, and then once you beat that, there's a mysterious 9th one, which I wasn't even aware of.
Ooh.
Okay, so maybe
So-
it's like Nier. Maybe everything becomes like really clear whenever you beat everything. Like you're like, oh, this was maybe
Perhaps.
thematically connected. I don't know.
Perhaps we'll see. Once
I don't know.
get to-
I maybe I'm imprinting what I want it to be too much
Sure.
on it. Yeah.
Well, with all the Nier, Kyle, I don't know if you've been checking out all that Nier fiasco that's been going on.
I
Are you
saw
aware?
headlines.
No,
I couldn't
what's
decipher
going
what it
on?
meant, though.
I don't know what's going on.
So I by no
You really
means
don't?
No, I really don't.
Oh,
I
okay.
absolutely. Yeah, I realize in retrospect I sound a little dry there.
I don't
know, guys.
You're like, no, I don't know.
No.
So
What
I
are
don't,
you talking about?
I don't know the very like nitty gritty details, but basically what and it has been since confirmed. Like the 3 people confirmed it. It was a mod. It was like this really advanced mod that someone put together that made it seem like something was going on with the developers that were doing some sort of wacky, almost like kind of maybe marketing or something. Like there was this mysterious door that no one had ever seen at I think it's the end of the game. That area looks like the end of the game.
I really feel like I saw a headline of this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
new door, new room.
But, like-
I saw a headline, yeah.
But
yeah,
it like there was like
loot
asset.
cave or whatever.
There was like certain assets that people were like, "There's no way that this could be a mod, or the way that this is being done, it can't be a mod." Like, and I swear somebody said something about like assets from Replicant.
Near Replicant,
which is-
yeah.
which is a
Can you say
prequel.
all the numbers too, if you don't mind?
I don't.
Near
remember.
Replicant
I don't remember.
1.36.
2,
Okay, whatever. It's
7, 5.
Fake fans, everybody. Fake fans.
I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
And even some
9, 2, 5.
and even some stuff about
6.
Drakengard, like people were like freaking out.
They're
like,
all in the same universe, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. So people were like, "What is this? Is this Yokotaro? Is it Yokotaro? I think
Yeah.
the dude's
Yep.
name is."
Yep.
People were like, "Is Yokotaro like pulling some wacky shit on us?" And like it turned out to be just a mod. But
I'm
it was
very
really
mad about
cool.
all this. Yeah. Can I just say, make Drakengard whatever number we're on happen, please.
Sure.
Thank you.
4.
Drakengard's one of the most unloved series of all time. It's so good. Like it's crazy how good it is. And,
Kyle, can I just say I would prefer another Nier game, but I'm on board with this as well.
no. You're living in a world of and buts. You know, I'm living in a world of both. Why can't we have both? You know what I mean?
I'm in a world of butts. I'm all about butts. So.
Oh,
Sure.
man.
Okay, yeah. Sure.
Butts. Did somebody say butts? You guys
Hey,
didn't
did
have my
someone say
attention at all.
heinies?
Yep. So we're gonna talk about butts now, right?
Yeah,
this
the butt
now-
cast.
The butt cast. Yeah, exactly.
So
What
Chris
game were you
Hemsworth,
talking
right,
about
guys?
before? Oh, you were talking.
When it's just the 3 of us, it's like Dad is just he's somewhere. He's like,
Oh,
like,
God.
Dude,
These
you should have seen
kids.
us when you weren't here. Like we were out of control. You know.
Sure.
We were just. I mean, so many
Sure.
racial slurs and like.
I don't think we
sexist
said anything of
remarks.
substance until you showed up. So,
No.
well,
thank
you guys
man.
did say that to Tim. You said that there was gonna be racial slurs and other things. So
Yeah.
We're
You know,
just
'cause
delivering on a promise. That's all it is. But it's not
because
even.
if
things that we
one
believe.
thing you know about Jeff and I, it's that we're just racist. You know.
Stone
The
cold
That's the one big takeaway.
What?
You know.
What?
Huh? What?
Cold racist.
for a beer. Ask for a beer. You gotta do one of the hand motion for a beer. Throw me a beer.
The thing about Mexicans. Okay, I'm not gonna.
Okay. No. Oh. This is not
That's
art
Stone
imitating life. All right.
That's Stone Cold. That's not me. That's Stone Cold saying that. Okay, that's not me. That's not. So you mentioned the game you just mentioned. I can't even remember what
Stray,
it was.
and then we brought up Nier.
Live Alive. That's what it was.
Live Alive. Yeah. So Live Alive.
Talking about Live Alive.
Cool. So I don't have too many more details, but
yeah.
It looks interesting.
I really am gonna get this game, but I knew Xenogear. Like, you're talking about two big RPGs coming out at the same time. You know, I had to pick a lane, and that's usually not me. Usually, I just buy both, and I go, I don't care. I'll play a little of both and quit both. I don't care. You know, but I'm trying to future-proof myself here a little bit. But I came around really hard in the demo, like I said on the podcast. Thanks to you, Dan. You gave some wise sage Jedi-like advice to your young Padawan Kyle here. And I was able to get through all three of those stories, and I really enjoyed it after I understood what the game was trying to tell me.
I do think you have to be in the mood for it, because the bottom line is it is like a 2D HD remake of a old RPG. So you do have to like
beautiful. Oh,
right,
so the pixel so beautiful. Yeah. And some of the camera work is really good.
Yes,
it's
but
really
the game feels like, when you actually get into it, and you're like, this does feel like a Super Nintendo RPG. Like there's
no, but like you had to bring a Super Nintendo RPG mentality to understanding its mechanics too, which like you locked into really quickly, which is what you kind of were relaying to me. And once I kind of understood that, like, hey, this is not a hand-holdy game, you know? Like, you have to bring kind of like your old school mentality smarts to this. The game was challenging in a way that I like games being challenging. You know what I mean? Right. Like, it's just like, hey, you have to get yourself in that old school frame of mind where there's not waypoints that show you where to go, even though there kind of are in this game, but like they're obtuse, but not in a way that's just obstructive, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I really like it. I can't wait to play it. So I'm glad you're hopefully enjoying it. I guess.
So far, I'm not like in love with it, but I like it so far. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're one story in. You know, play the cowboy one and let me know what you think about it. Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Red Dead.
That's the one I want to know really bad.
Yeah.
Red Dead Japan.
Yeah. Like I just want to know how like the shooting feels and that kind of combat. You know.
Sure. Yeah. I'll let you know. I'll do that next.
Please, thank you.
Kyle, you were going to mention another game you were playing, or
you guys seem. I feel like everyone's streets ahead, as Pierce from Community would say, on this game. But I'm doing LA Noire for the first time.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
And I got to the traffic desk my first time through, which is like those are like really soft missions.
Very beginning of the game, yeah.
But the last mission,
like 3 or 4 tickets or something, and
the last mission on the traffic desk, which is about like the young girl who was molested. It's really dark, and she was molested, and she was like given up by an older actress. This game does not play, man. There's some really heavy themes.
Just wait until like you get into the meat of the murder mystery.
Yeah, and that's where I am now. I'm in the homicide. I'm in the very first mission of homicide. You guys, this game is like so good.
It's stupid how good it is. Yeah,
like it's so good. I'm going back to my because I have like all the games by gen. Like what's my favorite? Kind of what we did like a week ago.
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna put this in like my top 10 now of that gen. Like that's how much of an impression it's making on me.
Fair.
So much when we stop this podcast, instead of playing Xenoblade, I'm probably gonna play LA Noire. You know,
once you finish it, you'll see they were clearly inspired by the actual Zodiac story, the real Zodiac story. So like,
I'm really excited to get
pretty much just that, and it's
and I'm picking up these newspapers, and there's this maybe overarching story about like this guy like killing vets or something. Really into that, you know. I love this game, guys. I'm super into it.
Yeah.
My favorite part about the game so far is learning that your stupid sidekick can drive you and just warp you to the next mission. I was like, wow, this game is a 10 out of 10 now.
Yeah.
And
it was one of those rare things because Rockstar gave the impression that the game was, at least in the marketing, that it was like open world or whatever, but really it's more of a linear open world, and you're
like
kind
Mafia
of like
2.
So
I'm
a Mafia game.
I'm a student of the Mafia franchise, and while Mafia 3 is a little more traditional, and you guys just played, or Jeff, I know you played Mafia Definitive Edition.
Yes.
It's very much like that, where there isn't a lot to do in the world. Maybe there's a side thing to do real quick, like there is in LA Noire. You can do like side, like, you know, street level crimes or whatever. And I don't mind that. I kind of like games that kind of like, hey, you're in a sandbox, literally. We're just gonna put missions in it. You just navigate around this open world or whatever. Right. And it's not traditional open world, but like it's still very much so you can go wherever you want to.
It feels, as long as the world feels alive, I don't care. I don't care if it's traditional open world or linear open world. Yeah. If it feels like a lived-in world, I'm game.
And the thing is, it's so story, even though it's like vignette stories, it's so story aggressive that like I don't want to drive around forever. I just want to get to the next
story's
thing
so good. You're like, we got to go find this guy. He's about to get out of the
this
country.
Guy's molesting young girls.
Yeah.
We gotta fucking nail this
we're gonna
guy.
trap him.
I get really attached to the stories in this game.
So
man.
it's in the
I'm
50s,
like,
right?
These monsters.
Yeah,
We gotta stop
40s,
them.
50s. I thought it was Prohibition. It might have been 50s though.
40s. I think it's 40s. I think it's late 40s.
So I think it's just cool, like almost like as a 1940s simulation, like driving around and kind of seeing the world like from that. Yeah, but like you're saying, like there's no point of like getting out and like trying to be like, I'm going to treat this like Grand Theft Auto. Like it's not what that.
Yeah, there's no. Especially
I
as
feel
a
like
cop,
there's something to be said about it being. I think it's a street for street recreation of 1940s California too. So I think it's like.
Oh, cool.
I think it is a mirror
there's actually some housing developments too you stumble upon that are like coming
you,
soon,
you,
and I'm like, this is so much like that.
When you hold down B for like this is the famous public library, you know, like so you have landmarks if you will, you know, like so it's cool to like it feels like I exist in a world, and I don't need there to be like random shit going on to like make me more immersed, you know. I think that the immersion works on the level that it. The immersion works on the level that it's showing.
And the fact that even in the slow moments, the slower moments, I would argue, are the interrogations. But even then, you have to lean forward and pay attention and look at their facial animations and stuff.
I mean, you have to remember your clues too, because like clues aren't available to you.
Always
if you want to contest them on a lie, you have to know your Rolodex of clues. And dude, I just did a mission where there was like 30 clues that I picked up, and I'm like, okay, so this person's. I found a receipt, you know, is that receipt gonna like prove them, you know, like I have to really think about it. And
because some of them it's random and like a red herring, you know.
So like so I just did one with like, I'm interrogating an actress. Guess who's good at not showing face? Actors.
Yeah.
So like I'm interrogating this actress who's stone cold. Like, so like I'm mucking up everything, dude. Like it's so interesting because like when you're interviewing like a redneck, like they don't know how to like hold their tells. You know, so it's like, well, I didn't see them. They look like Mexicans to me, and then they look around like, and I'm like, okay, so you're just a racist old guy, all right? So I can't listen to you, you know. Which the game is very racist.
Did they do one of these like?
Yeah, they did. This game is so racist. Sometimes I'm like, whoa! I literally say out loud to myself like, whoa! I forget how we talked back then, but yeah.
Say racism.
Racism. We gotta cancel these actors.
Like a Metal Gear exclamation point.
Yeah. No, there's some wordage that happens in this game that like really shocks me.
You were playing this game because I played this game once and beat it, and I played it with a guide like the whole time. I had an app that had all the clues in it and stuff. And, like helped me through the game because I really wanted to nail every single suspect. So like I beat it once and that was it, and I was like, oh, well, that was one of the best games I ever played, and you've been making me eager to go back and play it again, dude, because I think that was 360 when I played it.
It is a very old game.
But and obviously we've come so far with that technology with like faces and everything. But like, back 2 gens back then, it's like
it still holds up, man. It still looks good. Like the way that their faces are moving. You know, sometimes it looks a little goofy, but the Corey had goofy moments.
Right.
I mean, yeah, but same with the Corey. Even in the Corey, it's always the eyes. They're like, well, you know, like you're a teenager. Why are you doing that with your face? I don't know. So like we still haven't fixed that, but like for something that's 10 years old now, 8 years old now, like it still looks great.
Very groundbreaking at the time to capture facial animations that
it bankrupted that studio. I don't think they exist anymore.
Because it was Rockstar like North or something, right? It was
I think it was like Rockstar Australia or something like that, right?
It was hold on, because they were working the game after that was called Horror of the Orient.
No, that never came out.
And that never came out.
Oh, it was Team Bondi. So Rockstar was
Team Bondi, that's what it was. Yeah, which is Australian, right?
Australia,
yeah. Australian, yeah.
Nailed it, you guys.
Yeah, but
Horror of the Orient. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Yeah, because I remembered that.
What a title.
Yeah, I remembered that, and then it got canceled because obviously they don't exist anymore.
I actually, Horror of the Orient's gonna come out when, what's the other game that like Rockstar was supposed to make like 1,000 years ago that never came out? It was called like Spy or Agent. Yeah. We're gonna get that when we get the Agent.
Yep, we're still getting that.
There's a whole in the Team Bondi article. There's a whole section dedicated to Horror of the Orient and how offensive that title is, and I'm like, now I need that game. I need that game.
Right. 2022's never seemed better for Horror of the Orient.
They like people, and one of the quotes was like, "I can't decide which word is more offensive," and I'm like, that's really funny. Okay, you have a point there. Moving on to watching, because I don't have anything else I'm playing. I don't know about you guys. So we're good. All right. Moving on to watching. So what I've been watching that's been taking up most of my time and stealing me away from gaming, even though you would think this is a good show to play Switch games to. But Boy Meets World I've been watching.
Yeah, I just saw this. I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
You guys and your nostalgic.
Yeah, that's really all it is.
I don't know what I'm saying. I really love that show.
This show came out like the kids were a little older than us. Like they were in middle school when I was in elementary school watching the show. So like it felt like the show was
now. I was like they're 30 like 6-year-olds.
No.
No, I mean
children. In the show, they're in middle school, about to go into high school, and I was watching this elementary.
I think they were like 2 years older than like you and I don't know. I feel
something like that.
I'll fact check.
But like it felt like a glimpse into the future when I was watching it as it was airing and stuff. Like the fact that all of these morals that they're teaching in the show are rooted in like practicality.
Started in 93.
Yeah. So like it's just every lesson that they teach feels like something you could still teach today, and it's not rooted in anything like there's no like religious themes or something to explain why you should be moral or whatever.
Yeah.
Like Feeney's usually giving them lessons about like
Feeney, dude.
Actual real life. Like here's how it is outside of the world. And he's already like he's been doing this for years that he knows that they're not going to take him seriously when he's giving them really good advice. So he just kind of says it matter-of-factly every single time, and I just what a great character. And
he does it when they're young too. I mean, they're how old when the show starts, and he's just like he's giving them this.
I think he says
this knowledge, this wisdom so early.
I think Feeney says something to him in like the very first episode that's a pretty highbrow concept for a kid. Yeah. And Corey just goes, "Mr. Feeney, I'm 11." Like, that was his response.
Like, "Whoa, dude, chill, kill, dude."
Like he was asking him for the deeper meaning of love or something like that, and he was like, "I'm 11. What do you want from me?"
What?
It's just a warm blanket of a show for me right now. And it is a lot of its background stuff because I'm realizing as I'm rewatching these episodes that I have not missed a single episode of the show. I've probably seen all these episodes more than once. Just over the years of it airing in syndication and on ABC and stuff.
Sure.
So like I'm remembering, and it's just bringing back waves of nostalgia. Like, and it's just it's hitting the right spot right now for me.
I love it. That's
and awesome. I'm in season 3, so like Corey and Topanga are together. They're in the second year of high school. Eric's about to graduate, I think. Or he's trying to. He looks like a 30-year-old man in high school. That's another thing too. Like all the high schoolers look a little older. This was a common thing back then.
Growth spurt, right?
And they do it now in Euphoria, where like all the kids are like old as shit. Like Nate is like 40 in Euphoria. He's really not, but he does look really old. And Boy Meets World, I guess, was already doing that. Like
Stranger Things has been recently.
Yeah. Stranger Things is a victim of that, and that's actually the reason they canceled Girl Meets World when they did that spinoff. Is because by season 3 they were like, the lead actors are too old and they're not going to appeal to the younger audience that Disney wants to appeal to, so Disney just canceled it. Like they were just like, well, instead of moving it to somewhere else,
that should have been. We're just letting the show grow up with the fan base that's watching it. That's what Boy Meets World did. Yeah, exactly. Literally what they did.
Like Topanga and Corey got married and stuff. Like they had adult things happening.
So I think it was this particular. I think it was this particular line, because this is the one that's sticking out to me. So Mr. Feeney saying to Corey, if you let people's perception of you dictate your behavior, you will never grow as a person. That's deep, dude. And it's just like, it is straight to the point, but like, obviously Feeney has a way of like saying things in like this Feeney-like manner. Feeney!
I'm definitely not there yet. And even in the, there's an accompanying podcast, by the way, that,
really?
The actors who played Topanga, Sean, and Eric started.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Wow, yeah, that's cool.
And they mentioned that, first off, the actor who played Feeney had a lot of say in what his character ended up being. So it started as kind of like, back then, all of those type of shows had teachers that were just dorks and wet rags. And he was like, no, I'm not going to be a doofus teacher. I'm going to be a serious, like, almost like a scholarly teacher. Yeah. And so he brought a lot of that to the table himself, being a theater actor and just having the know-how to do that. And second, Eric's character, they didn't really start discovering that until season 3, when they were like, oh, he's just dumb. He's a himbo. Like, let's just make him a himbo.
Right.
And it works. And they just... he continues to devolve, I guess you could say.
But it comes back full circle
further dumbness.
Last season. In the last season, it comes back because there's that episode right towards the end where him and Corey are like, he's like trying to like wrestle with them, or they're kind of messing around, but then like things get heated, and Corey's just like, dude, I don't even like know you anymore, man. Like we're like not, there's all this space in between us. Like it gets like really deep, like him and his brother.
I remember that.
Oh shit, like, because like he's a goofball for like so many seasons. Like
remember an episode in a later season, might have been season 7, the last one, when Ben Savage's actual brother Fred
yes,
cameoed
in college,
as a professor who was inappropriate with Topanga.
Yep.
And Ben got in a fight with him in the show, and it was like, whoa, they're like real life, but they look exactly alike.
Yeah, right. And never mentioned, you know.
Yeah. And it's also a little bit of disgusting poetry there because Fred Savage is apparently like
hate that.
He's a pest. Yeah. It's such a
never meet your heroes, everybody.
Yeah, for real.
But shout out to Topanga. I mean, right?
Yeah. She is. She's
not for any reason. I felt like I came on a little strong there. Not for any reason. Just big shout out to her. I mean,
shout out. She's I am digging her a lot. Great
personality. Hey, guess what? She's great. That's all.
Got a great personality.
There's nothing weird about it.
I love her personality.
I want to ask you, Jeff, or actually, Kyle, are you into Boy Meets World as well?
I may have not have watched it as many times as you, but I may have probably seen every episode at least twice.
Okay.
You know, I grew up.
It was on. You know, it was always on. Yeah.
It was always on, and it was always relatable. I think those were the big things.
So I wanted to ask you both: have you ever watched Girl Meets World, which is a sequel?
No,
I watched the first, I want to say 5 or 6 episodes, and then I kind of gave up. I was just kind of like, oh, they're appealing to an even younger audience than Boy Meets World was. But granted, first season of Boy Meets World was definitely appealing to that young of an audience.
Right.
Yeah.
Like all the way to the theme being super corny, and like everything about season 1 is so over the top cheesy that I should probably just go back and stick with it, you know?
So my wife and I had rewatched Boy Meets World. I think it was maybe not last year, but the year before. And then we were like, you know what? Let's give Girl Meets World a try. Let's just do it. It's on here, whatever it was, Hulu or whatever. And it's
probably on Disney Plus now, yeah.
Right. It's actually not bad.
It's not.
So follow it all the way through, and it's actually like a pretty like nice conclusion.
And they throw in a ton of cameos. Like they even got Turner back, and that dude doesn't even act anymore.
Right.
Wow.
They got Harley back. Like, I mean, they got all these people back that just don't act anymore.
Right.
My understanding is the first actress that played Morgan, who's our age, by the way. So that's the age I guess we were when we were watching the show. But like the first actress that played Morgan, because they ended up, that role ended up being recast in season 4, I think.
Right.
But she's still an actress and on stage and stuff, and like they actually had both Morgan actresses come back and cameo on Girl Meets World. I have no idea what roles either.
I don't remember, but
yeah.
Roseanne did that too, where they brought Sarah Chalk back and the original Becky.
Yes, the Connors, because Sarah was playing like Sarah Chalk played somebody that was going to.
It was the oldest sister who
Becky, yeah.
Yeah, Becky, whose original actor came back.
They got the original actor back for the Connors, and then Sarah Chalk came in to be somebody that was going to be like a surrogate, I think, or Becky was going to be a surrogate for Sarah Chalk character.
It's something like it's it's the latter, yeah.
So like they were basically forced to interact a whole lot in the show.
I love this. I love these
like the Connors, by the way. They still got great lessons in there too for the masses. In my opinion.
I stopped watching after Roseanne because I was just like, that's called Roseanne, you know.
Yeah,
like,
I know.
And I like Roseanne. I know she said some weird stuff. But like, you know, it doesn't erase my childhood. Like I grew up watching
right.
You know?
And that's fair.
But that's the thing. I grew up watching the show. I probably would still enjoy it with.
Yeah, the Connors. I mean, the dynamic is still there between the family, and it's still very enjoyable. Darlene is basically the lead now.
And he ends up marrying like Catherine Siegel, right?
Katie,
yeah.
Kate Siegel, whatever. Peggy Bundy.
Peggy Bundy, Bundy, yeah. I'm here for that, yeah.
She was Gemma in Sons of Anarchy too, but yeah, it was
she's like classic American TV mom, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm here for that.
Yeah, it was it fits, and I enjoy the show for what it is.
I like the first season of Connor a lot, like Roseanne when it was called Roseanne, but
Oh yeah, me too. I like the
reboot first season. I like it a lot. Yeah,
me too. Anyway, Boy Meets World. I'm still gonna keep at it, and that's just like been occupying a lot of my time. I've just been loving it, man. That's all I really have to say. I've watched other stuff, but it's just not even worth bringing up here. So you guys can take it away on the watching stuff. whichever one of you wants to go first.
I showed two people Mandy. They were not as in love with it as I was. Let's just say that.
I know somebody who loves this movie. It is baffling to me because this is like another guy that loves artsy fartsy visual feasts that are just noisy and crazy and can't explain any of it. He normally loves those movies, but Mandy, he was like, that was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I don't know.
How are you the same person?
Okay. So cards on the table. I think Mandy is one of the funnest movies you'll ever watch. Yeah. I think it's so awesome. I think visually it's so amazing.
Metal. It is literally a prog rock album cover.
That's exactly my elevator pitch, Jeff. It's an 80s prog rock album cover come to life. Movie. Like that's like 80s prog rock album cover of the movie.
Jack Nicholson movie. Or not Jack. No. Sorry, Nicolas Cage.
It's a Nicolas Cage movie. I know you hate Nicolas Cage. That's why Jeff and I are talking. You can go to sleep, Dan.
He does have a scene in the bathroom that is just amazing.
He cages out so hard in this movie.
But it belongs. It belongs. It totally fits.
It's a great movie if you enjoy 80s like prog rock, because there's a lot of prog rock in.
That sounds cool. That sounds cool.
Yeah. There's a lot of prog rock in metal.
There's a scene where people have a chainsaw fight, like the chainsaws are swords.
All right. Well, I'm kind of sold on that.
It's very like cerebral.
Even if you hate the story and where it goes with certain characters and the violence of it, the visuals
are so
colors. Yeah, you'll be like, holy crap! Dude.
It's another one where it's like I know they're gonna teach this movie like in film school, where it's like this is how you shoot a scene.
Yeah, this is how you light, and
this is how you light. This is how you overlay. This is this is how you do it. You know,
exactly.
I think it's an important movie if you're a student of film to like at least see.
That should be taught to like visual effects artists too, because I feel like a lot of the lighting stuff that was
this is a low budget movie, man. Yeah,
was like done by visual effects artists that love the job, you know, like it was.
They're probably paid well too, unlike Disney.
Right.
Sorry guys.
Whoops.
Hey,
we're gonna talk about that.
Did I out you guys? I don't know. It's really good. I hadn't seen it in a while, and it's good. Even Dan, I know you're not a big Nick Cage fan. I highly suggest it to you. I think you would really enjoy it because like the vibes are all there.
Yeah. Well, the imagery of it looks just super rad.
I'm glad you're looking it up. Yeah, it's a very cool looking, and it just gets like as the movie progresses, you're like, did this ever take place in real life? Are they on Earth? You know, like are they on Earth? I don't know.
It is very confusing. I'm like, so this is post-apocalyptic and not at the same time.
Wait, so was Nick Cage a blogger at the beginning of this movie? Because now he's going to an eternal place that doesn't exist in real life now, and I don't understand what's going on. Like the transition of the movie is
so it's like the Evil Dead. It's like the Evil Dead.
That came out in
Evil Dead vibes. Sure, yeah, I agree with that.
There's some of that. Yeah, it came out in the year of in one of the craziest years of movies that we've lived through. 2018 is just one of the best years. Period.
It still stood out.
It still stood out. It didn't make my 10 because my top 10 is like, holy crap! Like Annihilation, Hereditary, Blind Spotting, Suspiria remake, Into the Spider-Verse, 8th Grade. Mission Impossible Fallout. I mean, that year is stupid. Infinity War?
So dumb.
Yeah, Infinity War?
That's so dumb.
That's so wild. We got all those movies in one year? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I know. It's so never going to happen again. Never.
Anyways, didn't mean to talk about it this long. Love that movie. If you like Nick Cage, watch it. If you hate Nick Cage, watch it. I don't give a crap.
Do what you want.
All right.
Nobody cares.
I mean, I'm off this whole week. Maybe I'll throw that on.
You should. I highly suggest it. I think it's a highly enjoyable movie.
Especially if you feel like you might suffer through it with Nick Cage being in it.
Well, suffer is a strong word, but
you have to get somebody to suffer with you and make your wife watch it. I'm just saying.
No,
for the ladies.
You're like, nah.
Visually, it looks like something she'd kind of be like, "This is weird," like not into. Like,
it is weird. She's right.
So I'll watch it on my own.
Sure.
So the two things, real quick. So I finally, I don't know how I completely forgot about this show, and I was like, oh, well, now I'm done with Resident Evil, and I was looking for something to watch. Rick and frickin' Morty, dude. I had not actually started watching this show yet.
So you see, I saw this in the list on the notes, and I was like, "There's no way it's a first time watch." I was just like, so sure everybody's already seen the show now.
No,
wow.
I had seen Pickle Rick episode. So my friend a while back was like, "All right," he was like, he was like, all right, you know what? Let me play this one for you, because I was like, no, I hadn't seen it yet, and he's like, all right, I'm gonna make you watch this episode.
It's a really weird first episode to watch.
But it was amazing.
Okay, if you like, that's great. Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Absurdist humor is really hard to sell to people, so that wouldn't be my first episode to show somebody, but I love that episode.
To be fair, this whole show seems like that energy. So
it is that energy, but that is the energy dialed up to like 12. You know what I mean? Like that episode is like specifically really ridiculous.
Yeah.
But like, not that it never gets that ridiculous again.
Sure.
Not that that's a one and doneer. You know.
I mean,
but like the high concept episode for sure.
even the first season. I mean, I think the title of the episode is was it Morty Potion number 9.
Yeah.
And it's just like they completely just almost like wipe the slate clean, so to speak. And it's like, holy shit. And at the end, like his eyes are bugging out and he's looking at his sister and it's playing this song that I'm almost like wondering if it's from like some sort of scene in a movie where like a similar thing is happening. Like it's very existential. Like,
yeah, Dan Harmon is the king of homages. So
yeah.
It's definitely from something, I'm sure.
It is. If you like animated shows, like you like Simpsons and all that kind of stuff, like Family Guy seems like insulting to throw into the same thing. I just mean like comedy shows that are animated. If you like comedy show, please watch this if you haven't, because you're going to be like, who gives a shit about Family Guy? Like,
and I feel like there's a lot of like stigma that comes to this show where it's like, well, if I like this show, I'm some dumb Gen Z or millennial who likes dumb comedy. You know, I feel like it's another one where like the fans are a little obnoxious, like with Rick and Morty.
But that's gonna be the case with anything.
It's genuinely a funny show, and like you get as much as you like come in with. So it's like if you're a big movie guy, again, like I was saying, Dan Harmon's a big movie guy. You're gonna witness a lot of homages every episode. You're gonna notice a lot of things, a lot of scenes. He uses a lot of like insider knowledge, like Hollywood humor and stuff like that. In terms of like, there's entire episodes about like the structure of writing. That's like the whole episode.
Yeah, right.
The story train, Jeff.
The ludonarrative. What is it called? The
narrative dissonance?
No, that's not what it was. They had meta narrative. It was like an entire episode that was like
when they're on the train, right? Like
yeah.
Okay. Like there's so like and the thing is there's a lot of episodes that are extremely high concept and meta to a point.
The one where it starts splitting
on itself.
It's the beginning. I think it's the very first episode of season 2, or maybe it's the second one where like it's the first episode because they froze time. It's 6 months late, and then like they start arguing, so like they start like almost separating it to like, and it keeps
and the screen is splitting too. You know, different dimensions.
And like things are slightly off because like it's obviously that's how the episode needs to go, because it's like, oh, we got to be doing kind of the same thing and be on the same page. All right, hit the button, and it's like it doesn't work because something was slightly off in that one like alternate.
Is that the same episode where Morty is like seemingly going back in time and correcting his mistakes?
No.
I think that's way later. Yeah.
Okay. Because that is one of the best.
That's a great episode. Yeah. He's got the guiding stone. He's like, I'm just Jessica. He's using the guiding stone to write his future or whatever. This shows science, even though a lot of the science is theoretical in terms of like time travel and stuff like that. It's actually spot on. It's actually like they do their homework. You know what I mean? Like. They like Dan Harmon and what's the other guy's name?
Justin Roiland.
Yeah, Roiland. They're knowledgeable about this stuff, and they consult like theoretical scientists about like all this black hole and and time travel and all that stuff. So it's like, even though it seems like an absurd show, like scientifically as we know it, it's actually one of the most accurate sci-fi shows since like Star Trek or something.
Well, that's cool that you're saying that, because like when Rick is just like spouting things, like he's basically telling Morty to like shut up, and he's like saying all the sciencey shit. It's like it sounds super legit. Like
it sounds super legit, but it also sounds like kind of like rambling because he's kind of like drunk rambler.
He's also like,
you know?
He's drinking and he's burping, he's belching. Like
it's all pretty spot on, you know.
It's very impressive. Yeah, they don't have to do that, you know.
They don't. That's going the extra mile.
Going on. Yeah.
And again, it's absurdist humor at its highest. They just put it in a digestible cartoon form.
Oh my god! You still got to get to the Vat of Acid episode too. My god.
Vat of Acid.
Oh man. Yeah.
That sounds familiar. It's a great show.
It's a really good show. I'm glad you're watching.
You guys can suck my ass. I think that guy had something else going on.
There's a lot of community in this show, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot.
The community humor, like Dan Harmon. There's so much Dan Harmonisms in the show, like to the point where when they split and do their own projects, I can tell who is doing what joke in Rick and Morty.
Yeah, because it feels like watching Solar Opposites, which is just Justin Roiland and I think somebody else. But Justin Roiland, I feel like Dan Harmon reins him in a little bit in Rick and Morty, which
totally
sounds
agree.
crazy.
Yeah, Dan Harmon's the ringer inner. Like, no. Like,
but
I thought Dan Harmon had a guy that ringed him in. Yeah.
But the Solar Opposites is so meta that they talk about Hulu, which is where the show is on. And they talk about like the structure of the season sometimes in throwaway dialogue, and I'm like, you're getting a little too meta for me. Like,
well, they do that in Rick and Morty. Like at the end of the episode, Rick's just like, all right, like end of the episode, roll the credits, come on. And he's like dancing. Like,
season two, motherfucker.
They do it as a throwaway gag, whereas example, the recent season of Solar Opposites that just dropped like a couple weeks ago, they had an episode end where two of the main characters are waiting in line, and one of the characters goes, "Oh man, sounds like the episode." It's Justin Roiland's voice, so it sounds just like Rick.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh man, it sounds like the episode's gonna end. I swear to God, if the next episode comes up and we're still in line, I'm gonna be so mad." And then the next episode happens and he's still in line, and he's like, "Son of a bitch!" Like, so like, but they do that a lot. They do that.
Yeah.
Way too much. Like,
that also works better in a binge format, which is funny.
Right.
It's true. Yeah. They expect you to watch it in a
binge format joke. Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. That line episode, which by the way, that did lead into an episode where they spend the entire episode waiting in line, and like they make it like a fun thing where like there's professional people that wait in line, like they do it for a living or whatever. It's so stupid. So the show does have its moments. Don't get me wrong, and it makes me laugh. But like Rick and Morty is just like.
Yeah, it's just outrageous, man. Like, what? Yeah, just definitely give it a shot. Even if you're just not into like the animated stuff, like just give it a try.
I hear slights against the animation style for some people, and I'm like, you know what? Everybody's got their own taste for certain.
It's Ren and Stimpy adjacent, where sometimes it gets a little gross.
It's definitely gross.
They really detailed this. This is kind of weird.
It's very gross, especially when they're going to alien worlds. Like the freaking aliens that you see sometimes is like,
you guys want to squanch? Squanchy here.
Yeah.
It gets weird. Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff, but they can really push the boundaries of being animation.
Right, exactly.
Again, like I know that it's a dirty word, but like it's a smart comedy. Like
it is.
Like,
it's very.
If you understand a little bit about science, like you'll get more jokes than like your average Joe who's just here for like the fart jokes or whatever. Mm-hmm. So again, like it works on. You can enjoy it on a fart joke level all the way to like a theoretical science level. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like there's a lot of space there to enjoy it, and it's reaching out to a lot of different people. I think it's one of the perfect comedies that are out right now.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So I look forward to.
I hope that Dan, have you watched through Community?
No, that's one I haven't started. So.
Oh, okay. So I hope this one kind of inspires you to go back a little bit, see where Dan Harmon.
The Community really feels a lot like the show in terms of like just the pacing of the comedy.
It's just a little more grounded. They feel like real people and stuff. But there's definitely jokes in it.
It starts getting nuttier too as it goes on.
You're right. You're right. There's no Chang's not a real person.
They're all not real people by the end of it.
But it's just a really, really funny show, especially like when they start parodying certain things like Westerns or Glee. Like when their Glee parody is just amazing.
You'll really see like where those homages and satire and parodies like start. Like Dan Harmon's perfect at that stuff. Man.
See, I didn't even know he was. So did he write both, or was
and the Russo brothers, which we've all enjoyed via the Avengers movies, directed a lot of those episodes. So they started like Community. Gave them the platform to do something like Avengers. So it is a springboard for a lot of creators that we're enjoying currently right now.
That's quite a shift.
And no one knows, like I know Community's having its resurgence in terms of popularity, but like I don't think a lot of people understand the amount of talent that was attached to the show before they got uber famous, so Community's like the best comedy ever, guys. Go check it out.
Yeah, I think it's my favorite, Gas Leak season aside, which is what they call the season where Dan Harmon left. I still think that season is actually pretty enjoyable.
It's pretty funny, yeah.
But
it is lesser.
I still think that is one of the best, at least of our generation, one of the best comedies to ever come out. Like probably my favorite, at least.
It is my favorite. I think I've seen it. Like
so many
used
times,
to be at the time. Like literally, Community is like
it's like the equivalent of Parks and Rec.
The top 3 favorite shows of all time for me.
Right.
Like
for sure. Yeah, it's up there with Parks and Rec for me, but obviously it's a different style. It's not a mockumentary or anything. Yeah, I mean, they do actually critique the mockumentary format.
They've done a few episodes
more than once. Yeah, so it's pretty brilliant, actually.
That's the thing is that
they even say Abed says more than once, Jeff, don't jim the camera, and like,
don't jim the camera.
Sure.
You just made a face. Don't do that. It's so enjoyable. So I hope that does inspire you to do that. But how tell me how good or apparently utterly trash Resident Evil is, or boring.
Yeah,
I don't.
Did you finish it?
Yeah, I did. So I'll keep this one shorter because I mean we went longer on Rick and Morty than I thought. But I thought it was okay. There are some there are some good parts, but I'd say it's definitely mostly just very okay. It just
like very okay. Like the movies were better than
no, but probably better than the movies.
Okay. I know it's a low bar, but I feel like
right. But it is one of those situations where it's like, all right, cool. So like, there's some cool visual stuff. Like, some of my favorite stuff is like some of the creatures are kind of cool. I think they do, and I believe they're in the trailer. They do a really good job with the liquors. The liquors look super cool.
Spoilers, bro. There's liquors in Resident Evil.
Terrifying. I know, right?
Get out of here, man.
So
the most noticeable.
Is that what they say too? Are they like, I'm just gonna lick you real quick?
I'm gonna lick you real good.
Lick you real good.
Yeah.
Is that the alien from Family Guy? Is that what?
Yeah, that's. Oh yeah, no, that's the you're thinking American Dad alien. The hey man, Roger.
Okay.
Roger, I'm just gonna lick you quick.
So that scene is actually really cool, even though it's like in a tunnel and it's really dark. It's just everything that's going on in that moment is kind of cool. But it's like it's definitely one of those shows where it's like, all right, like quite often you're watching it and a character does something, you're like, why the did you just do that? Like, you're an intelligent character. So the two main characters.
CW show. That's what you're saying.
Right? Yeah, a little bit. Honestly, it kind of sometimes has that vibe. So the two main characters, Jade and Billy, are Albert Wesker's daughters. And basically, there's two timelines that you're kind of bouncing back and forth between. So there's like kind of like present day when they're 14, 15, I think. And then there's the future post-apocalyptic timeline, which is like, oh shoot, I forget how many years, like around 18 years, I think. I forget what the exact amount is. Right. So they bounce back and forth a lot. And as you get further along, you're like, all right, so these two kids grew up, or Jade grew up to be like really smart. So like basically does like in the beginning, she's clearly doing some kind of experiment. And then later on, she finds something and she's actually like in a lab with somebody doing an experiment. You're like, all right, you're an intelligent character. That's clearly what they're trying to, drive here. And then she does something super dumb involving her daughter being in the same room with a certain something in the same room, and it's Resident Evil, so you could probably assume what I'm getting at. And it's like, you could have just told her to wait outside. Why are you telling her to be like, just go stand in the corner really far over there? It's like, the room's not that big. Like, why are you telling her to stand over? Tell her to get the hell out of here. Like, while you're doing your dumb experiment. Like, it's just, so it's like, that's just an example, like a very specific one, but it's just like, it doesn't make any sense. Why would she have her
manufactured drama for the sake of
it?
Because leave logic at the door.
Because something happens and shit blows up real fast involving that one particular moment where it's like, oh damn, like, okay, that just, something really bad just happened. Yeah. So yeah, it's just, and there's a lot of moments like that where characters are just doing really dumb things because it's like they have to push the plot along. And it's like, yeah, if you get nitpicky about it, it's like, then it's like you're not going to enjoy it as much. So like, I wasn't like in the moment being nitpicky about it, but once I finished the show, it's like that really had some really like poorly written moments, and I didn't really like care for that. I think if they kind of maybe just like gelled out on it a little bit, like kind of took a step back, like we can maybe take a different angle here.
Why is it so hard to nail this in live action?
I don't know.
I feel like there's such a blueprint there for success, and like no one will follow it. Like everyone's just like, nah, I got a better idea. Your idea sucks. Your ideas suck. That's why they're making the game and you're not.
Yeah.
Just take the idea. No one cares. Like when people sit down and watch a Resident Evil thing, they want the story of Raccoon City.
Yeah.
The way it went. They want the story of Spencer Manor. They want the story on the island with those weird twins and family or whatever from Code Veronica, that's the stuff that they want. They want Nemesis, like they don't want all this like.
I don't know why has this studio or whoever owns the rights to adapting.
I think they just pass it out to anybody
Resident Evil
interested.
Have they not tried to court Guillermo del Toro yet? Because I feel like he would do amazing at this type of thing and make it his own vision and like.
Yeah.
In a refreshing and cool way. Like it wouldn't be. So like mainstream, it's just that whole mainstream sheen over all of these adaptations that just don't make it feel as like grimy as it should be, and like I mean, I guess the Netflix show, at least from the trailers that I watched, come a little closer to the grimy and gross feeling that the games kind of have.
There's some moments of that.
Yeah,
there's like kind of some glimmers.
But if characters are being stupid in between all those moments, and it's like
it's hard to like.
Yeah.
But of course, Lance Reddick playing as Albert Wesker. I mean, he's the best part because
of course.
He's just his
so
voice.
He remains the best part. Like,
yeah, and there's an angle there that I'm not going to spoil involving him. That's kind of like, all right, like that's kind of goofy because it's like you've seen this in like sci-fi movies and these type of movies, but like this is kind of fun, like, and it kind of they take it in a certain direction, and which is connected to the universe of Resident Evil because there's moments of they mentioned this person's name, they dropped this person's name, and there's actually a scene where they find some footage involving the 96 Raccoon City incident and like
that's what
stuff like that. So cool. Like there's like homages to the actual and there's like just kind of these throwaway lines like, oh, Albert Wesker this, like, so it's like that's kind of cool because it's like it is tying it into the games and like the lore
knowledge that we know.
Right, exactly. But again, it's just this show specifically, it's like it's okay. So
if it gets a second season, are you watching?
Yeah, because it does end on like like a cliff, like there's
traditionally shows find their
stuff
footing,
there's still stuff that needs to be resolved.
Like first seasons are hard, man. It's hard for any show.
Especially with this being it is technically its own original thing because it's like they're doing the like kind of current timeline when they're kids, but like the future stuff is like that's completely original. Like there's nothing like that in the games. There's no time jump. So.
Well, there is a time jump at the end of 8, and it doesn't look like this at all.
Right? Yeah, exactly. This is its own thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see if it does, go for a second season. We'll see where they take it, and
it seems expensive. I doubt Netflix will say yes.
I don't think they'll say yes, honestly.
Which is a shame because there's a certain person that
it's no Emily in Paris. Let's just say that
it's no Great Bake Off 4.
There's a certain individual that at the end, Albert gives writes the name on a piece of paper and hands it to
Wong. Is it Ada Wong? Is it Ada Wong? Is it Hunk? How about Hunk? Is it Leon? Is it Chris? How about Chris? Is it Chris?
It's definitely a main person. I'll give you that. It's a main person. It's a main person.
Is it Joe? Is it Joe? Is it Joe? Is it Joe? Wait, is it Claire? Don't tell me.
It's
one of the Lickers. You know what to tell me.
Is it the Lickers? Yeah.
It's actually Mr. X. He's like, go see Mr. X.
It's not Spencer via Spencer Matron, is it? No. It's okay.
Lady D?
Don't say anything. Yeah, is it Lady D?
Yeah.
Is it D?
Yep. And then she came on the screen, and I was like,
she's gonna step on me, Daddy, or whatever it is. I don't know, Mommy. I don't know. I'm not a kid.
Mommy.
So yeah, just okay.
Mama.
Just okay.
So that's great. We covered everything, playing and watching, and now we get to move on to the headlines, guys. It's the news. The news.
This just in news.
So we have a couple things for Sony. First off, the PS Plus games have been revealed. This is like for regular poor people, PS Plus, like me. Right. For August 2022, the games are Yakuza Like a Dragon, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1+2. I think that's how you say that, 1+2.
Sure.
Wouldn't that just be 3? Whatever.
That's the unlockable. That's the secret unlockable.
Yes, man. I don't know.
That's the secret unlockable.
And Little Nightmares. Not the second one, unfortunately, which is a great game. But the first one, which is still good. So that's a good ass list of games. I didn't even include Microsoft announced their Xbox games with gold, and I was like, not even going to cover that on the show.
Saints Row 2 is one of them. I know.
Yeah, one of them is Saints Row 2, which is great. My character, it looks the most absurd that he's ever looked in any of the Saints Row games in that game specifically.
Yeah.
As far as Yakuza goes, there's an extra caveat to that. The entire mainline series of Yakuza will be available starting this month for PS Plus, all the extra tiers, the premium and extra, and they'll be released staggered throughout the remainder of the year. So that's kind of cool. I didn't realize that was I guess Sony mostly hosted those games for a while, and then what? Like Xbox eventually said, no, we're going to start putting
Xbox finally got him like last year.
Yeah. So that's cool, man. If you guys haven't played Like a Dragon yet, go play that. If you got normal,
please go play all 7 of these games, please. They're so good.
By the end of the year, they'll all be out. So,
exactly.
Or available on the PS
on
Plus.
their Game Pass equivalent. This podcast into a Yakuza fan podcast.
There we go.
That's why we all need to play it.
Also in Sony news, they're coming out with a Backbone 1 PlayStation Edition, which is basically it's an official licensed mobile controller for iPhone users. So you put your phone in the center, and the sides are like PlayStation controllers.
You play
so
PlayStation games?
No. I think
so you can remote play. So basically, it's like on the go. You'd just be playing whatever's on your PS5, or I'm guessing PS4 also, but it probably works better with PS5.
So you could also use it for like mobile games that you're playing too, right? I assume.
I assume.
I mean, yeah, because I think Backbone must be like kind of it's third party. It's just this one's sort of being backed by PlayStation.
This one
like
they sponsored.
It's the PlayStation edition because it actually looks like
it looks like one of their controllers. Yeah,
the DualShock Sense. So
okay.
Yeah.
So that's it for the specific news. Nothing from Microsoft or Nintendo that kind of made at least pique my interest. So we're just going to move on to the general. So in general, like shortly after we recorded last week, San Diego Comic-Con was happening. I think it was happening like as we were talking, some of the first few panels. We'll talk about MCU main Hall H panel and we'll touch on the Marvel animation stuff.
Hall H is the Red Rock. Hall H is the Red Rocks.
Yeah, it is
huge.
Huge hall.
It's like if you are in Hall H, you are announcing the best news anyone's ever heard ever.
Unless let's start with DC. Unless you're DC and you just have two things.
Yeah, DC kind of just showed up this year. Yeah, which is weird because they've kind of dominated the last couple years.
And it kind of makes no sense to me. Aside from the Flash, which has its own problems, and I guess Aquaman too, you could argue, has its own problems with the. Being tied up in the Depp v. Heard lawsuit.
But Ben Affleck's coming back.
Hey, we got Ben Affleck because we got to replace Amber Heard with somebody.
Shoot me.
But like, you couldn't show anything. Batgirl finished filming like a month ago. Like, why didn't they show anything from Batgirl? That movie's supposed to be coming out this year.
They had nothing to show.
Flashpoint's supposed to come out, but what's his face is on the run. So.
Right? Yeah.
He literally is the Flash right now.
that is in limbo. So I mean, I think they're not going to talk about that
bad.
one. Oh yeah,
so bad.
Really unfortunate. But all they did was show Black Adam and Shazam 2. Both trailers ended up being released to the public. I'm sure they showed some more footage to the crowd.
I like to call it Nap Adam. That's kind of what I call it.
Still continues to look a little bland for me, but it could be fun.
Yeah, I'm open to it being fun. Rock is always charismatic and fun, but like when I'm watching this, I'm like, so it's Superman, but he's kind of a little naughty, but not really.
Yeah, but not really.
A little naughty.
He's like a little bit like edgy.
He says in the new trailer more than once, like, I do what I want or whatever. He makes a point to say
heroes don't kill people. I do.
And then it doesn't show him do any of that.
Did you kill any? I don't know. I didn't see murder anybody.
I missed it. I must have blinked and missed it. But Shazam 2 looks like fun, and they got a bigger budget. Great new cast members. You got Rachel Zegler from West Side Story remake in there. Helen Mirren and Lucy Liu, I think they're villains.
Yeah, Lucy Liu, yeah.
And then some big ass monsters. And yeah, I'm excited to see the Shazam family back. I've seen that first movie way more times than I ever intended to. That movie is just so much fun.
I like that first movie a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm excited for another one. But that's all.
I hope they don't dwell too much on the like, where's my place as a hero bullshit. So. Yeah. Or if they do, they do it well. You know what I mean? Like if they do, they spend the time well on it. You know, I feel like we've been getting that story a lot lately. But like, I just don't know where I belong as a superhero. You know?
Yeah. And Thor: Love and Thunder already kind of.
Yeah, that's very recent.
Covered that and didn't even cover it at all.
I would say they tried to heavily cover it, but still didn't cover it. You know?
Yeah, exactly. They were like, no, here's what the movie's about. Here's where we left off Endgame.
Big question,
and then we're gonna forget about all that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So I guess I'm just kind of tired of that story. But like again, like there's always good ways to tell a story that's been told 1,000 times. So you know, I'm open to it.
Speaking of a story that's kind of been played out 1,000 times, but it's been amazing to watch. John Wick 4 dropped a teaser trailer, and it looked so much.
He overhand throws an axe at a guy in slow motion, and it hits him in his head. Like that's in the trailer. They're just like, we're just giving you that one.
Yeah. It looked like there was a lot more spectacle in 3 because I remember him being on horseback fighting guys on motorcycles in the first trailer for 3.
Yeah.
Yes. And whereas this one had a lot more close quarters fighting in really cool settings. I remember sword fights.
I imagine Halle Berry's back if I saw dogs.
Oh yeah, she gotta be right. She had a good role.
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope so. She was a cool character.
I don't feel like you're just introducing characters and not bringing them back at this point unless they get killed.
But they are introducing some pretty big names in this. Donnie Yen is the biggest one, I think.
I've never heard of him.
Movie. Oh, he's
just
some guy.
Donnie who?
He's just some guy from another country. Who cares? But
what country?
I'm told he's a
country,
big
Jeff?
name.
Yeah, can you tell me which one?
Pyongyang. I don't know.
Oh man,
what?
That's fine. What?
What?
We don't endorse the. That's not a collective hive mind opinion of.
He comes from that place, from that Chang.
Current Gen doesn't endorse the ideas that Jeff.
He comes from that secret place in Chang.
Listen, he's playing a blind guy again. It seems like this
It
guy's
seems
on
like
a
he's another
roll.
blind guy, yeah.
This guy's on a roll with blind guy roles right now.
Blind guys who kick ass. That's what his MO is now.
Blind guys who kick ass. That's who he plays.
I'm so pumped. I'm so freaking excited for this movie.
I'm such a gigantic nerd for these movies, dude. Like,
me too, dude.
I feel like
I remember you being higher on 2 than I was, because to me it felt like a little more of the same, and the stakes weren't as grand to me. Like, fulfill this debt, and then he just said no, and that was it. That was like the main thing.
I was kind of enamored with like the world. I was like, oh, y'all are building out the world more.
Oh, they definitely did way more world building.
Yeah. So I guess
kind of was like. Just
wild.
That was like a Fury Road of like close quarters fighting and stuff, like in shootouts. Like it was
that knife store scene.
Oh my god!
There's this scene where he's like making a makeshift revolver with like all these revolver parts.
Right.
And like, have you never seen these movies, Dan?
So I've seen the first one. I just keep forgetting to. It's like Rick and Morty. It's just something that just exits my brain, and then I see the thing. And,
the action just gets better as it goes.
You're going to love the third one because it ramps up. It ramps.
It's on. What is it on Peacock? I think they're on Peacock.
I don't know.
Let me double check.
I like the common
because I own
the
them.
second
So I don't
movie
know.
too. I do too. Yeah, I like the common stuff in the second movie too. Like,
Yeah.
I thought all the fights with Common were good.
But Common was the second one where they were shooting each other? From
That's the second one.
Okay, there's some good. There's some really good comedy in these movies.
Yeah, there's some great comedy in these movies.
The third one, I remember at the end of the knife fight, when I saw it in the theater, it was opening night. Yeah. I saw it. Oh,
watch
cool.
him, Dan.
Thank God.
Please.
So like I remember sitting next to, it was a full house, and I was sitting next to a couple strangers, and it's one of those movies where you're reacting to it audibly next to strangers. Like that fight ended, and the guy next to me goes, "Oh, now I can breathe." Like he's too. Like we're both like just like, "Oh my god, dude, what is this movie?" It was just so freaking cool. Every scene. Yeah.
I'm a big, like, Jeff can probably say the same thing. I'm a big, like, where action movies are going type of, like, student, if you will. So, like, I like to use the term, we live in a post-Raid society. Like, the Raid came out, and action movies as we know it changed completely. The way they were shot, the way that, like, the type of action that we like to see, like, in those movies and stuff like that. And I feel like John Wick is the next evolution. Like, it's the next step. Of like, because like the Raid's a little more like hand-to-hand combat and stuff like that.
Yeah.
This is like more like there's a lot of hand-to-hand, but it's a lot more gun combat in this, and I feel like it's a real big. It is a pillar in action movie franchises and series in terms of like where, like look what it started. It started this whole like John Wick clone. You know what I mean? It's the Dark Souls, if you will, of movies. You know, everyone's trying to like make a movie just like John Wick to start a series on and blow it up into some big series. You know, but like John Wick is still kind of the only one who's doing it right, even though there have been good attempts like Atomic Blonde and stuff like that. You know,
and they're leading into the John Wickiness of it, where like even in the in the trailer of the fourth one, they're playing up the fact that Keanu Reeves doesn't really talk in these movies. Like, like literally Lawrence Fishburne, who's, by the way, Morpheus and Neo. Yay.
Oh, shit. For real?
So Lawrence Fishburne, he was in the third one. Yeah. So,
and the second one. Yeah. I think it's introduced
in the second one. That's right.
So
I think Lawrence Fishburne just asks him again, much like at the end of the third one, are you ready to fight? And it's just like a pause, and he just goes, yeah. And they're so leaning into the Keanu Reeves nature of that character. They know
seems
exactly what they're
easy
doing.
enough, right?
Yeah, seems easy enough. Yeah, my favorite quote from the first movie is the line in the trailer where he's like, "People keep asking me if I'm back. Well, yep, I'm back," and then he murders everybody in the room. It's so good.
It's such a great scene.
It's one of the greatest action series of all time. Like,
it is.
We're living in a world where everybody's trying to even Gray Man. Like, there's a lot of like scenes where like he'll grab someone and shoot him at point. That's totally all John Wick like shooting and. We live in a post John Wick world. I can't even say post Raid world anymore. Like we live in a world where everyone's trying to replicate.
Because the Raid was more about look at how fast these guys are fighting, and the camera's not really cutting. It's not cutting.
It's just like it's just hey,
and
watch these guys beat the crap at each other at full
John
speed.
Wick was more like, let's not move the cameras, but let's do really interesting gunplay that nobody's ever done before.
Point blank pistol gunplay.
Well, Keanu, have you guys seen that video? Keanu's kind of like out in like almost like a
of course,
on a course, and he's trained.
He's actually broken records on that course of real soldiers who are 3 times younger than he is.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, he's the real deal, man. And like he's in his late 50s and he still looks good in these movies, man. He's still quick. It still looks real.
I know people about him like in Matrix
Resurrections.
The newest one, yes. Not being as like fast and the quick cuts, but it's like he is older, so obviously he can't move the same as like in the original trilogy.
Different director too, like
right. But like in the original trilogy, dude, like he trained up, like he's learned martial arts, like he really like he did not phone it in at all. He really gave it 110%. Like,
and he could have done that again, but it probably just wouldn't have looked natural. And I think the director recognized
it's not
that.
about
Keanu
that. That movie's not about that.
Yeah, exactly.
The theme of the movie is not about watching a kung fu master like fight machines.
Right.
Other things going on in that movie.
All I'm saying is Keanu is the shit.
It's a headier movie.
So Keanu Reeves is the shit. He's
the real deal, man.
Super hard, and he's great.
So. He seems just like a genuine guy.
He's the most humblest, like nicest dude in the entire world.
And I thought I had something to add, but I don't. So anyway, moving on. The Sandman showed another trailer.
Mr. Sandman.
This has been a long gestating, long time. I mean, that's kind of what it's about. It's about the guy who, from a dream world, more or less, that helps, I don't know, create dreams and craft dreams for people. Anyway, this is like a Neil Gaiman property, and Neil has been trying to adapt this for freaking decades.
That's what I heard.
It's finally happening.
Yep.
Netflix, I think next week is dropping the season. I'm intrigued to find it out, but I wouldn't be surprised if it came back with ratings and reviews that were like, meh. So
I don't mean to be a negative Nancy, but I see Dark Tower movie written all over this.
Yeah.
Where it's like people were waiting forever for we're gonna get Dark Tower. Oh my god, we're gonna get Dark Tower, and it came out and like everybody hated it. Nobody ever talked about it again. It's a totally dead thing, And I don't want this to happen to this show because it looks high budget. Like I've seen the trailers. It looks like Netflix really put some money into this, and I've heard nothing but things.
The changing of like certain. Like I think they made Gwendolyn Christie from Game of Thrones. I think they made her Satan. Lucifer.
Satan.
Which was in the books was like a male character, and so like I'm like, oh, they're doing interesting things with the casting in this. That's got my attention.
The internet appreciates that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you're playing Lucifer, then But you're really gonna get mad at the casting of Satan of all things? Like, come on.
I don't know.
Well, Satan's got to be a dude, man.
I do. I do think people are gonna get mad about it.
I don't know, man. If you're gonna cast Hitler, you shouldn't cast Taika Waititi. Okay, think about the battle that you're fighting here.
Right.
Kind of forgot about that.
I love that movie, by the way.
The movie's amazing, by the way. Yeah.
So they did show. The only other thing I had in here that grabbed my attention, and I know that there have been so many panels, like there is every year, but this year, San Diego Comic-Con was officially back. Like, everyone showed up for it. But House of the Dragon is the only other thing that got my attention. The Game of Thrones prequel following the Targaryens.
Yeah.
I couldn't be more hyped. Just stop showing me stuff at this point. I'm already sold.
Smith is gonna rule that because I know all about his character. I'm an encyclopedia of this like point of time in the Game of Thrones lore or whatever, because it's all written out and done. So all these people who are like, well, that old series didn't do too well because they ran out of book material. All this book material is written, so like it's done, So like all you have to do is just adapt it, And his character is the best character in this whole story, and like Matt Smith is such a good actor. He's the perfect guy to like carry this.
So he is a Targaryen in the show, right? He
is the brother of the king. You know what I mean? So yeah.
What would be his relation to Khaleesi?
Or is he the nephew? Brother or nephew? I forget. To Khaleesi, this is 1,000 years before that.
Oh, 1,000 years before that. Okay, I thought it was like more recent. Okay.
No. This is 1,000 years before.
Cool. That's perfect. That way, you don't have to. There's no pressure. You don't have to show any of these people that we know about.
So the idea is like it's the king's either I'm so sorry guys, uncle or nephew who thinks he should be next in line. But the real successor is actually the king's firstborn daughter, which is not traditional,
Right.
So it starts this giant.
That's their way, though, right? That's like the Valyrian thing or something, or
kind of like I think this might be the first time they're trying to push for it, So it's not something that had been done before. A female queen that took over the succession of the king and whatever. So of course it causes this gigantic civil war between Targaryens. I'm talking, it's gonna be dragons fighting lots of dragons fighting dragons, lots of towns getting sacked.
Because this is
so high budget. Like they were saying, they're like, this show, its budget is starting 4 times the size of of Game of Thrones first season. We have movie level budgets for every single episode. And
because this is the era that we've all kind of been clamoring for since Game of Thrones, where the Targaryens are
they have been ruling for a
literally
long time.
They're trying to fight up through the rubble in Game of Thrones. They are shattered to pieces of what they used to be as a family.
And the Valyrians are still alive at this time too, which the Targaryens were making children with and stuff like that. So you have all it's a lot of just political intrigue and bastard children and succession and stuff like that. It's all the things people loved about Game of Thrones before it became about zombies. And there's not going to be any zombies in this. So if people's Game of Thrones love was all about the political aspects and stuff like that, and the battles and stuff. That's what this show's all about. I feel
there's going to be a ton of that, ton of both. Yes.
Lots of characters that you love dying right in front of you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
It's going to be awesome. I think I can't wait. They're gonna probably outdo Red Wedding. I have a gut feeling they're gonna have. An episode
there is a moment
half the cast
that happens. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, historically, yes. And
I know that one of my favorite newer actresses. I guess she's new. She's our age though, but Olivia Cook is in it, and I freaking love her.
She's the girl from Ready Player One.
Yeah, and Thoroughbreds.
Yeah,
she's amazing.
Thoroughbreds, yeah.
She's so good in Thoroughbreds. God, I love that movie. Anyway, that's all I had for Comic-Con. I think they did show a Lord of the Rings of Power trailer, but
very good trailer.
Ooh, the music in that.
Did they show that at Comic-Con or before?
No. There was a trailer before, and then a couple weeks later at Comic-Con they showed a second trailer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's second 2 trailers trailer pretty close together. Yeah.
Blew my freaking mind. And as we said when we watched it in the chat to each other, we were like, okay, so Bezos or whoever spent all of the Amazon bucks on this because it looks like they went to Middle Earth.
Well, when the creator was saying that there's never been a TV show like this, which people are just
people say that a lot,
just whatever.
Kevin Feige says that shit about Miss Marvel.
This is really showing that. This is really every episode's gonna be a high budget movie, man. It's out of this world.
I'm so
how good it looks,
pumped, dude.
I know, and I know it's just the music of the trailer, but obviously the music plays a big thing, especially with emotional moments. And there's something about that, and then obviously with the and I'm sure we'll discuss the Black Panther trailer. Man, the emotional power of these songs, the soundtrack that these things are gonna have is goddamn.
Well, I will tell you that it was confirmed that Howard Shore, the original composer of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, did the theme for the show. So I think they put some of that in the trailer. And then I think some big guy, some bigger deal. It's not on the level of Howard Shore, but I think somebody major is.
He's known for something. I remember reading his credentials. I'm like, oh, I know that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a really powerful score.
Bear McCreary, God of War.
God of War. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
Little thing you may have heard of.
Bear is a beast.
Holy shit! Really?
He's freaking amazing.
So he's the one that is scoring this new Lord of the Rings show.
Yeah.
God
damn. He's
damn.
got the main job, but Howard Shore did the theme. McCreary is he's no slouch, man. He's
not.
I used to listen to a podcast about that just interviewed movie composers. That's all they did was just talk to very successful,
that's
I guess
cool.
you would call it in gaming terms AAA composers. These guys are, and he is just the most freaking educated musically about everything, and he's so excited about every project that he's on, even if it's example, he composed a score for Call of Duty Vanguard, and that game kind of sucks. But he
but
loves doing,
great.
Exactly. He just loves doing that. And God of War obviously is I think his best work.
That's awesome though, because that's obviously he knows what he's doing, and there was just something about it that really I latched onto.
For sure.
With that trailer, and obviously thinking back to Lord of the Rings when first seeing them back in the day.
Yeah, absolutely.
All those feelings.
The next thing I had in here is not really related to Comic-Con, but it came out after the fact, is the Black Panther single-player open-world RPG game in development.
Oh, did we not want to discuss I thought we were gonna discuss the Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
We're gonna talk about it. Don't worry.
Oh, okay. Because I was actually gonna say if when I'm editing this, I can actually overlay the actual video if it comes in fuzzy. Sweet. We should watch the trailer live. Like, let's just watch it again, like while we're recording.
Man. You want me to cry on here?
Okay. Yeah, I do actually.
Okay with that? Yeah, I can break it down, dude.
So just let me know when we get there.
So I wanted to mention this because it sounds super fascinating. It is this Black Panther game that's in development reportedly. Yep. Is from a new developer, but it's made up or was founded by a former Monolith head, the guys who made, speaking of Lord of the Rings, the Middle-earth games. So that sounds super fascinating. It's going to be published by EA, so that's where you can kind of go, but still.
They got the bucks. They put up the bucks, put out some games, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
Sometimes they kill their games. I don't know.
That's true. So this is really cool, though, because Wakanda, absolutely should be an open-world game. So I'm really excited by that idea. In disappointing news, let's get this out of the way for Kyle pouring out for this one. The Knights of the Old Republic remake did get pretty much indefinitely paused.
You don't ever want to hear the indefinitely word.
Yeah, because that means it's never going to come.
Yeah, people like to be like, oh, it just means there's no date. I'm like, no. In the gaming industry, that just means it's canceled.
Like, they literally fired the two main people working on the game. Like, it's
the director and the head artist or whatever.
Yeah, the art director. Yeah, the art director and the creative director are gone.
Yeah, the creative director are gone.
I mean,
I kind of said this in the chat, but like, this was maybe a game that was way too big for the studio to bite off anyways. Yeah, this is a mobile game developer that has dipped their toes into their toes into porting Star Wars games. So like
they did the ports. That's right.
So they did the ports of like Knights of the Old Republic proper 1 and 2 to the Switch. Like that's like their biggest project they've ever done. Sure. And everything else they've done is mobile games. And you're giving the biggest Western RPG, most successful gaming franchise and brand ever to this, I'm sorry to say, nobodies, you know. So like my expectations were always pretty tempered on this game, because I was like, I kind of know who's doing it, you know, like maybe if they just kind of stick to a plan that's given to them, maybe they'll pull it off or whatever. Everyone has their first big success, you know, so I don't want to count it out, but like there were a lot of measured expectations that everyone should have been taking going into this project to begin with.
Yeah, of course.
Just with all that knowledge.
That's a good point.
You know?
But
very disappointing nonetheless, though.
It's so disappointing, you know, because I don't think anyone would have greenlit it unless there was a good idea there. You know what I mean? That's a very protected brand right now, and I don't think that Disney or Star Wars proper. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy is like just greenlighting like okay ideas. You know what I mean? I think she's greenlighting like sure things.
I think there were some murmurs of there being like the internal testing and it basically what they had shown to like the suits, like they were not happy with it. So I think that also was a part of it.
It was a Cyber Connect Final Fantasy VII remake.
Yeah.
Exactly. Interesting.
Exactly.
So the next bit of news is the GTA 6 stuff that came out. Bloomberg got the exclusive. By the way, Bloomberg is Jason Schreier. That's what that means.
Who's just that idiot from Kotaku you hate.
Yeah.
Yeah, you who's listening right now. I'm talking to you specifically.
Derek, right? Derek?
Everybody on the planet.
Everybody on Earth.
So the report was that it's pretty much confirmed, I guess, at this point. You can only keep calling it a rumor for so long, that it's going to have a playable female character to lead. Opposite a male character, and it's like a Bonnie and Clyde type story, allegedly.
So you're telling me I have to run around as this character with a vajayjay between their legs instead of a wiener? Is that what you're telling me?
It's unacceptable.
If I have to play as a woman, she better be white, Jeff. Tell me she's white.
She is rumored to be Mexican. I'm sorry.
What?
What?
So, and also it'll allegedly be set in a fictionalized version of Miami, but they will add new cities and missions as the game goes on. They did kind of make a similar promise to GTA 5 single player, so I don't know about that.
Like that was said during GTA 5. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. I remember that being like, oh, I can't wait for more mission stuff and single player.
No,
and then it never happened.
Nah, we're actually printing money with online, so.
Yeah, exactly. Once they saw the cash.
I mean, it makes sense.
Are they continuing online, or is it going to be Grand Theft Auto Online 2? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I feel like migrating that many players to a different, like, it's always a tall ask if you have a existing.
What I think they should do, and What I think they might end up doing is just releasing it as a different game, kind of like Naughty Dog is doing The Last of Us.
Well, theoretically, Grand Theft Auto Online is a different game from 5. Like it's packaged into 5, but later, they're separate downloads and they're separate experiences. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think they might end up doing that business-wise. It just makes more sense.
I mean, yeah, especially with this newer game, it's gonna be newer, prettier on a new engine. I would assume,
massive,
updated. So, so I would imagine
the map ever.
With their best writer not there to write this game, it's gonna be awesome.
Sure,
guys.
sure.
Oh, cool. It's gonna be so weird.
It's gonna be super cool, guys.
Hey,
so he mentioned in his article as well something about internally the company being more culturally sensitive.
Right.
So Kotaku took that news and ran with it as the game's gonna be more culturally sensitive.
Yeah,
and I don't think that's what they meant. Like,
they did say they were not going to punch down at minority groups as hard, which is just. Sure. But like, I think people took that and they're like, oh, so they're like, sorry, Tim, pussifying the game, you know, like, and like, I didn't get that at all when I was reading, like, you know what I mean? Like, it just, to me, it felt like they're just going to be smarter with their satire. And as long as we get to still make fun of dumb white Americans, I'm totally on board.
Kyle, that's the thing. People don't want intelligence with their Grand Theft Autos. They just want me running around as man.
I don't know, man.
There's
a lot of the intelligent satire, and there always has been in those games. So
I'm saying the people, the people that on Twitter and so on.
Yeah,
so
there's a lot of mumbling and grumbling,
you know?
And like, dude, I'm super pumped to like play as a girl in these games. I think that sounds super cool. I think it's gonna add a whole new layer of stuff. We get to go dress shopping, guys. You stoked or what? Like,
do I get to pick up male hookers now? Is that
we better? They're better.
I better
and beat them with the dildo. Beat them.
So, and I like the whole aspect of like there still being multiple characters. So we're probably gonna still have that slot mechanic. Swapping, you know, I like that there maybe there's more stakes there because like they're lovers, you know, instead of just like kind of people who are trying to trust each other, even though no one trusted Trevor. So like I like that
even Trevor did.
Not even Trevor trusted Trevor. Yeah, he's too much of a wild card. So like I love the whole idea of that, and we've never gotten to play as a girl, and it doesn't feel woke to me. It just feels like new ground to cover. You know what I mean? Like it just sounds like something new for the series.
I mean, I know this is a random example to throw out there, but the newest Far Cry, I think the female lead was way better than the male lead. People like female Shep more than male Shep. You know, like that's been a thing kind of forever. You know, like gamers like female characters. So like I don't understand with the sudden change in the tide. How many times have you heard? Well, I only play as a girl avatar because if I'm gonna look at a butt for an entire game, I'm gonna look at a female butt. I've had friends and people online tell me this. It's such a common thing to say. And then suddenly, when there were suddenly more female characters started being made, men just being like, "Well, this is woke bullshit. This is woke." I think it's exactly what Jeff said. I think they saw the word sensitivity, insensitive, all that crap, and they just started building it up in their head. Yeah.
I don't want to care about people's feelings.
That's not what I played GTA for. You're still gonna beat up hookers with baseball bat, guys.
Yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be fine.
It's just gonna be women doing it now. It's totally the same thing.
Yeah.
So there was an Annapurna interactive showcase. I'm not going to go over everything. Kyle shared a trailer to Tim of one of the games, Bounty Star: The Morose Tale of Graveyard Clem, which is a over-the-shoulder 3D action game, and it combines mech combat and customization with farming and base building. So it's like very much, it is a Tim game, hardcore Tim game.
That actually sounds familiar.
Like where the action lies is in the mech combat, and then like of course you can do all the boring crap that Tim likes.
Sure.
This is what happens when you're not here, bro.
Sorry, bro.
So that is coming 2023 allegedly. They did. I thought this was cool that the Kentucky Route Zero developers said they are working on a new game for Annapurna, and it's supposed to be funnier and livelier and faster than Kentucky Route Zero, which is great because that game is, as much as I like it, is got a deliberate slow pacing to it. So I'm excited for that. And then there are some other announcements regarding like the Path list is finally coming to Xbox and Switch. It's not just PlayStation anymore. Solar Ash is coming to Steam in December.
It's coming to Game Pass too, I read. So like you get to play that for free.
Oh, cool. I love that game. What Remains of Edith Finch is now on next-gen consoles, and if you own the previous version of it, it's free. So that's cool.
This is a turn-based action RPG dating sim. Thirsty Suitors?
Thirsty Suitors, yes.
Sorry, what?
It's about what it sounds like.
Thirsty, bro. You thirsty, bro?
The color palette of
water,
it, though,
yes.
literally, yes. So the color palette of this is as indie as it gets. It's like bright.
Oh,
and,
okay.
Like, there's a lot of neons and stuff like that.
Yep.
But I don't know. I'm like on the fence about it. Like this could either be really, really cool, or just try hard and like cringe. And
I just want to appreciate that they're being inclusive here. There's some curvy women in this game, and I'm all about that.
I respect that. Can't help but respect it.
Yeah, I'm all about that.
And have you guys heard of the game called Ho-Ho-Kum? Ho-Ho-Kum?
Yeah. Ho-Ho-Kum? Yeah.
Ho-Ho-Kum, yeah.
That is on Steam now.
PSP game, I think.
Yeah.
PSP or PS Vita?
Or Vita? I think it was
Vita, because it was
I
mentioned
think
in
it's
the
Vita,
trailer that it was a cult classic, and I'd never heard of it. But it's on.
It is
finally,
a very interesting, unique game. Yeah.
It's finally on Steam, so it's not just tucked away on old Vita or whatever anymore.
I was gonna say, was it from the
cool.
Katamari Damacy guys, or is it just that similar vibe?
No idea.
Same studio, but it does have a similar vibe.
Yeah.
I also thought the game called The Lost Wild looked interesting. It's a first-person survival game where you're running away from dinosaurs, but it's not Ark. It's not an action game.
So it's not about family?
So it's literally like you're stuck in Jurassic Park and you're trying to evade dinosaurs. Like that's what it is.
Okay.
So I'm intrigued by that, and the graphics. It's first person, so the graphics actually did look really good, and like it showed the person they had a flare and they were trying to get raptors away from them, and that's where it ended. Was a raptor jumped at them, and I was like, oh, it was really cool.
All they needed to do was this, right? Just stick your hand out.
Yeah, just do the Chris Pratt technique and have 5 people do this. Raptors understand that.
I still can't wait to watch that movie.
It's so dumb and bad. It is on Peacock too. I would prioritize John.
It's already
Wick
there.
First.
Is it really?
Yeah, it took no time at all.
For free, or
if you got a sub,
Oh well, then yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
awesome.
up there. Yeah, it sucks, but it's up there.
Yes.
There you go. In my opinion, it sucks. I know some people liked it.
John Wick's gonna have to wait. I gotta watch.
Speaking of, really, you're trying to be such a heel right now.
What?
How dare you? Speaking of horrible movies, Tomb Raider movies. Remember those guys?
Oh yeah.
So MGM lost the rights to adapt Tomb Raider movies because they did not greenlight a sequel in time by May of this year. So there's a bidding war now for the next Tomb Raider movie. So it might not even have Alicia Vikander in it. It have no ties to it.
Didn't they say they were actually gonna?
They literally said twice they were going to do a sequel. They were like, "We got this director who's really great. He's going to do it," and then he dropped out. Then they hired somebody who did Star Trek show or a recent Star Trek show, and then that fell apart too. So like, yikes! Just maybe don't. Maybe give it some space. Give Laura some space.
I hope there's another bicycle scene. That's all I care about.
God, that scene is such. Oh, that is the worst thing.
That's how the movie starts, and it
video game
expects you to stick
character I've ever
around
seen.
afterwards. It
For
expects
real.
you to go, you know what? I really like that courier scene. I think I'm gonna stick around and see how this ends.
Stick around and see what happens here. Yeah.
There's people who literally like this movie. It's fine. I don't care.
Does it play "Bicycle" from the band Queen? Is that the song that's playing when?
It wouldn't.
No, that would have been a little too on the nose.
No, it wouldn't have made the scene any worse. It's so bad that wouldn't have made the scene any worse.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
It's a great song.
Bicycle.
I want to
ride my bicycle. And YouTube strike this.
The last bit of news that I had before we jump into MCU stuff relates to Steam Deck. According to Valve, Steam, whatever you want to call them, they said that they have resolved all their supply chain issues, and not only that, but they were able to up their supply. And everybody that has a reservation currently will get a Steam Deck by the end of the year. And that means people that might have reserved it and potentially might have had a Q4 date have been moved up to Q3 now. So Kyle and I should be getting one soon, basically.
And I was always Q3, so maybe we're getting that email any time now.
Could be. Yeah, I reserved mine a month ago though. So
yeah, same here.
But...
we
did it around the same time.
Yeah,
okay.
like within a week of each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if it arrived for us relatively quickly.
I guess I gotta
that's awesome.
I guess I gotta start putting money aside. Shit.
Yeah, I know exactly. Because you do have to pay for that.
Oh yeah.
Gabe
he's not gonna just send me one.
Yeah.
I paid $5.
Can't you guys just
send me Kyle, one? It shows here in your bank account you don't have enough money. And then you don't get. He's gonna show up at your door like he did with the first ones, and he's not gonna
hug. I'd be like, I don't want to hug you.
You look sweaty.
You look like you smell like Cheetos.
Knees weak, arms are sweaty. So so Marvel had a couple showcases at Comic-Con. The first one that they had was animation. That was on Friday.
Oh, are we talking Marvel?
That was on Friday.
I wore my Marvel colors.
How dare you? How dare you, sir?
I got my
Final Fantasy.
Swear to me that Marvel showed up to Hall H.
Murder.
So the animation panel happened first. That was on Friday. They showed an I Am Groot trailer, which looks delightful and adorable.
Sure, yeah.
And it's gonna be short and sweet and it's like I think somebody. Yeah, it's like 5 episodes and they're 20 minutes total. Like 20 minutes, all 5 total.
Oh,
so they're
wow.
short.
Oh,
Okay.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
And my understanding is that it's a breezy, really fun watch. So I actually am a little excited for that.
I'm really excited that Vin Diesel is back for it too.
Yeah, man. You couldn't get anybody else to say those 3 words.
No, especially not just digitize it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I can't believe they got the star from the Iron Giant back for this.
Dude,
that's all he's known for.
The build one actor from Saving Private Ryan is in this movie show.
Hey, Tom Hanks, I gotta get back to my family.
She reminds me of my niece, and then gets sniped. It's so great. Yeah.
So the other one that they mentioned is coming out next year. By the way, I Am Groot's like next week. I think that's coming out very soon.
Okay.
Spider-Man freshman year. Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
It's an animated series, and they're already working on a sophomore year show. So this is not Tom Holland's not going to be voicing a character in this, but it's going to be like a much younger Peter Parker.
It's not even from this universe. It's from a different universe.
It's not canon, but they still said it takes place after Civil War. But it's not canon. That's what I read.
Oh, interesting. They said it was following Spider-Man and becoming.
And it's not the universe that we've been watching this whole time.
It sounds like there might be conflicting stuff out there. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know.
They will. I'm looking at Marvel's website. They will have Charlie Cox in it as Matt Murdock. The boy, is he on a roll? We'll get to more of that.
Yeah.
But he's going to be back as Daredevil for that, and they're going to actually feature in this show characters that are famous in Marvel canon.
Yeah.
That we haven't seen yet, or we have seen in other shows, like Nico from The Runaways, Amadeus Cho, who ends up becoming Second Hulk eventually. Harry Osborn, Norman Osborn's going to be in this.
But remember, like Osborn's
villains.
don't exist like in the current Spider-Man universe.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, so that's what. I don't know. Who knows what the canon situation is?
Yeah, I don't know why the Marvel put on their own website. This is about Peter Parker on his way to becoming Spider-Man in the MCU. Then why? Whatever.
Maybe like they said they did the same thing with What If, where like this is not canon, and then like Doctor Strange came out. It's like so that was canon then.
Yeah.
Although
all right.
Although there's a female character that pops up, but that someone has since specifically said like that's not actually that from What If. So. They've actually confirmed that she's not from What If, so it's like,
it's a totally different.
Even though
it's a different variant,
yeah. Even though it's like almost literally the same, but whatever.
It actually literally is the same.
Yeah. So I think the coolest part about it being a Spider-Man animated show means there are going to be a ton of villains in the show too.
Cool,
that they can get away
I grew up on the '90s like Spider-Man.
Exactly.
Show.
Give me more. Give me more of that.
Oh no, that's X-Men. I was doing the wrong stuff. Shout out to.
They did show some What If footage. They didn't show it to us, but they showed some What If footage. Season 2 is coming out next year. Season 3 is already in the works. Season 2 is going to have people we haven't seen yet, like Shang-Chi and stuff like that, Wenwu, Red Guardian, stuff like that. There's going to be a Marvel Zombies TV show, which is a spinoff of What If. Okay. I don't know what the hell that's going to be, but okay, whatever.
Zombies.
Very famous comic line, yeah.
And then the thing I'm most hyped for has to be X-Men 97.
Yeah, dude.
Hey, wasn't the zombies supposed to be like rated R or mature, right?
I think you're right. I think they mentioned they were going to
I thought that was like the big surprise. It was going
to be geared towards adults and TV 14 or something like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Like, yeah. Well, I am hella pumped for X-Men 97. It is literally a revival of what we know of the cartoon from the 90s. That's why they're calling it 97.
If that theme song is not the same, I swear to freaking God.
It has to be because they used it in a recent show. I'm telling you, they used it.
Yes.
So has to be.
That was the best part of the whole thing.
Cool.
It's worth the price of admission.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So it's going to be the main characters that we all like and love from this original series. There's not really much to add there. Nightcrawler's going to be in it. I don't remember him being in the original. I'm sure he was in the animated series.
I think he was, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm sure he was. Everybody was, yeah.
Yeah, because it was a whole
so that
thing
was
with,
it for the animated one.
That, so.
That was it for the animated one. We'll close out with the Black Panther. I think that was the last thing they showed too. So we'll just close out of this episode with the Black Panther trailer.
The emotional high.
Oh man, it's so good. So we have a name for this current era of Marvel movies. This post-Infinity
Saga.
They called it the Infinity Saga. The first for 3 phases that they showed us.
Yep.
And this whole time, I mean, we voiced it on this show numerous times. What the hell are they doing? You know, is there a direction here? And apparently it is. These next 3 phases, 4, 5, and 6, are the multiverse saga. That is literally what it is. Which means it's going to get even more convoluted than Doctor Strange, and even more convoluted than What If and Loki. Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
The writers definitely have it in them to not screw this up, right, guys?
Yeah,
and the special effects artists, I'm sure they're excited.
Yeah, they're bashing.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, you're gonna go to space again.
You're gonna go somewhere not real
for 100 hours straight with no breaks. I haven't seen my kids in 3 weeks.
3 weeks, more like 3 years.
So I think first up, I think this is going in order of release, or I don't know. I think they just did TV shows first. I don't know how they ordered this on the Marvel website, but She-Hulk, they showed a new trailer, and it looked fun. The CG still looks rough, but the show does look fun and has a good tone about it. And I think it looks like she's breaking the fourth wall in it too. Like,
she does in the comic books, which I never understood. Like, if that was like a wink nod thing, or
Deadpool
is she actually doing
that
like Deadpool? Yeah,
because Deadpool's power is he's so self-aware. He's just aware.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas this feels like
She-Hulk, I think it's just played for laughs.
I think this is just played as a trope.
I don't think it's like a superpower thing. Yeah.
Right.
But I also don't know. So.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the biggest reveal out of this trailer, which by the way, again, I do think this looks fun, even if I understand this tone and this type of show might not be for everybody. But the biggest reveal happened at the end when Daredevil showed up on a rooftop.
Yes.
Again.
Charlie Cox. Is like Kevin Feige's like, hey, you're my guy now. You're gonna be in everything. We're gonna
Kevin Feige was just like, I'll make it up to you, bro. Like,
I'm sorry about the whole Netflix thing. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
I'll have you do more than catch a brick. I swear.
Dude, for God's sakes, he's getting. I mean, and I'm sure you'll get there. Like the amount of episodes that he's getting for his show is absurd. Like,
it's insane. Yeah.
4.5 months worth of content. Yeah.
Yeah, we could just mention that. They did mention. I think this was one of the last things mentioned for the end of Phase 5 was Daredevil Born
TV
Again.
Show. Yeah.
TV show, 18 whole ass episodes. Again, he's just making it up to Charlie Cox.
That's over a third of a year of content.
That is
every week for
insane.
A third of a year.
Content.
We're all going to be enjoying.
I'm so
excited. It's crazy.
And confirmed that Vincent D'Onofrio's back, not just for that, but he and Charlie Cox will both be in Echo, which is a prequel series about the deaf actress from
it's a prequel. Hawkeye. I didn't realize it was a prequel series.
Yeah. Like I'm pretty sure it's a prequel series. Let me double check.
That's cool.
That.
No, you might be right.
But she's actually got a cool power, and I don't think they really highlighted it a whole lot.
Not familiar with who Echo is.
The Hawkeye show.
Echo's the girl in the Hawkeye show who's deaf.
Yeah. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
But
gotta be honest, don't care that much. But
she's in the Tracksuit Mafia. Oh, this is following the events. You're right. But
it is following. Okay.
Yeah. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of flashbacks, obviously.
Well, she's Kingpin's like adopted daughter, Dan.
Right.
Or just the guy.
No. I remember her. I liked her character. Just as far as getting her own show, it's almost like
her getting her own show is us getting more Kingpin. You know what I mean? Like kind of thing.
Yeah, that and Daredevil too.
Because like Kingpin's never gonna have his own show. You know, so it's like this is how we get more of that. That's how I'm looking at it, at least, because that's not the character I would award a show to.
Well, Daredevil and Kingpin are pretty intrinsically tied together, so.
Sure, but since Echo's coming out first, now we get them both before 2023, where we get them in their own show, you know.
And so there are some other people.
If this is the price we got to pay, then I'm paying.
There's a lot of Native American actors that are cast in this show that don't have character names yet. One of them being from Reservation Dogs, which is another great show with Native American actors.
Taika Waititi also.
I think he produced that show. Yeah. And you can tell some of the tone is there from Waititi stuff. Anyway, that's cool, man. Daredevil is back full force, and I wouldn't be surprised if they
He's the
just
best.
cleverly,
awesome.
Start putting him into movies now.
Do we know if it's like a continue? Like, is it going to be like a reboot of the character with nothing?
I don't think so.
Okay. I don't think
so.
The guy who plays Wilson Fisk says I'm the same Kingpin, but like that's not his call. So like he says in interviews like he's playing the same character, but like it's not his call at the end of the day.
Right.
So
yeah.
I don't know if he knows what he's talking about.
And we have to remember where all of these are occurring in the multiverse saga, so we have to remember that like all of these things could be variants.
Well, I mean, he's popped up somewhere else already, in one of the movies. So
Daredevil.
No, Daredevil.
Oh, Daredevil.
So it's like we know he exists in this universe of movies, the main universe there.
And it makes sense to put the lawyer in the lawyer show. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Like get the other lawyer superhero guy in the lawyer supergirl show. So
that's so exciting, man. I feel like one of the biggest. This is a show that's coming in spring in 2023. I think this will be tied into one of the biggest arcs of the multiverse saga, and that's Secret Invasion. It's got Sam Jackson back as Nick Fury.
With the Skrulls, right?
Ben Mendelsohn, yep, you got the Skrulls. Ben Mendelsohn is back as Talos. Olivia Colman's in this. Emilia Clarke. Kingsley Benadir plays a villain. There was other characters in it. Don Cheadle's in it. There's a lot of recognizable people in it. Kobe Smulders is back.
Sure.
So there's a lot of similar like Shield characters in this, and it sounds like it's the beginning of the Skrulls stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna start shifting them to being bad again because it's like as of right now it doesn't seem like they're bad, but they act as far as the
I think we'll find that the Skrulls are splintered, and I think if I'm to believe rumors that Emilia Clarke is playing like the Queen Skrull who is evil. And eventually, they try to wage war on humans and stuff. But I think for the show, Kingsley Benadir is playing the main villain for the show, and maybe Emilia Clarke is like a villain for long term or something.
So Emilia Clarke plays a queen that's evil. That will play well. With a lot of people. Yeah,
exactly.
Play well.
Nobody will have anything to say about that.
No one's gonna have any parallel comparisons on that one.
I guess I'm not going really in order of where movies are and what phase and stuff.
Sure,
but I think in Phase 6 they only announced 3 movies, so I'll just focus on all of these are Phase 5 for now.
Sure.
But yeah, Loki season 2.
Black Panther is the end of Phase 4, right?
Yes.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. So all these are Phase 4.
So that's the last thing that's coming out.
Then we're over with 4.
Then we're over with the depression saga.
Yeah, exactly, the most depressing freaking saga movie.
The PTSD saga.
Yeah. Whimpering fart saga.
We got Loki season 2. I don't know if they showed any footage, but I'm excited for that to come back. It's coming in summer. They officially they officially gave a date.
Wow.
They gave a date to Blade. Yeah, Blade. Wow.
Oh yeah, Blade.
Blade. Wow.
I heard there was
Blade got a date, man.
I heard there was a little turmoil going on behind the scenes with that too.
I haven't heard any of that.
No, I think with maybe the writing, perhaps. I thought I saw something, but it could have been.
I haven't heard that. Yeah, if you see those articles, send them my way because I like all that goosey.
Oh yeah, me too. I nom it up. Nom the drama.
It also could have been one of those sites where I've seen you, Kyle. Like I think you have a friend that sometimes will like tag you in like something. And you're like,
oh, send me we got this covered. I will flash flame you in the chat. I will. I just will. So.
Yeah, absolutally.
I've seen your friend tag you, and then you're like, dude, get out of here. Like,
oh yeah, I don't know. I'm like, dude, you know this is a bogus site. Just do it to troll. I'm like, okay, dude, that's weird. It's a weird way to waste your time.
So with Blade, I can't remember who the director is. I think he's done a couple of foreign movies before. But Blade, I know Delroy Lindo is also in the cast, and
that'll be interesting.
He's the best. Delroy Lindo.
You know what? And I hope Delroy. I hope he's not a villain. I hope he's Whistler. Why not? Why not?
Oh, please make him Whistler. Yeah.
Oh man, Delroy's so good, dude.
He'd be the perfect age for Whistler. Yeah, the old mentor type. Yeah.
And not that he and Mahershala Ali are that far apart in age. Like I think Mahershala Ali is like 45 or something like that. So
yeah, but Delroy Lindo is like 60 something, right?
Yeah, he's got to be right.
He's just super old. He's been around forever. Yeah.
The vibes and tone of that compared to what we've had so far in this MCU will be interesting. all of a sudden vampires. Like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how they're going to throw that together. Like, how they're going to make sense of that suddenly.
I think people are going to bring a lot of baggage from what Blade was before, and
sure.
And this is going to be
Blade. Okay, and that's the thing. Blade.
This is going to be like
before is just Wesley Snipes with a sword.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Like that's all, like that, and that's not who Blade is. Like in the comics, like. Blade is like like, man, there's a whole stint like in Civil War, like proper, like where he worked for S.H.I.E.L.D. and just like brought superheroes in that weren't registering. Like he was like their like hit guy or whatever. Yeah. He's not some like quip shooting motherfuckers always trying to skate up floating, like that's not who he is.
He's not this guy that just catches sunglasses like out of nowhere.
I don't want to.
And I love those movies, dude. Like,
me too.
I'm not, but like that's not who he is. Like Marshall Ali is like an Oscar-winning, like we're gonna get a really like subdued but like calculated performance.
You guys are bumming me out. You're bumming me.
Yeah, you're like.
I can't wait for this movie, honestly, and I know that they're gonna either Kit Harington is gonna be in this movie, but I know his weapon's gonna be in this movie. The blade, sword. The black sword or whatever it's called.
Not the necros, but the black.
They show it at the end of Eternals if you watch that. If you try to get through that movie.
Good. I don't get it.
It's not that bad.
Oh,
it's fine.
What was
fine
it?
With a lowercase f. It's fine.
I forget if it was one of you guys or it was something I was reading, but it was like, why the hell? How many movies and shows have occurred in this phase that's post the freaking Eternal shit, and no one is mentioning this giant like
dead celestial coming
out of the earth that's frozen in place that you can see from space.
It literally changed the weather in the movie. Like people like it was direly catastrophic.
Yeah.
And like there hasn't been a news article.
Nothing. Nothing.
There should be continents that are gone now after that. Like
right.
They talked about the Harlem incident, which didn't really even happen in the MCU because it was in the Hulk, the second movie.
It was in Incredible Hulk,
yeah. But they dropped that so many times, and they can't even go, man, have you seen that celestial mountain that just appeared out of the...
that big ass
I can't get one damn word about that.
Like how?
We're 4 movies later, man. Like,
I mean, it's so funny to think of... it doesn't make sense to address it in Thor, but Doctor Strange is wandering around in present day New York, bro. What are you doing?
Unless it's Thor, but I mean,
I actually that's true. I guess I don't really understand the timeline because it's always convoluted.
So I guess if they don't really kind of say and they're vague about it, they can kind of be like, well, I mean, it hasn't happened in those movies yet. It's like, well, you know what? Then you're a dick.
My favorite like Disney lateral move was like, remember that kid in Iron Man 2? It was Peter Parker. Shut up! You didn't set that up. Shut up! Like they did that so much BS. Like
they did that in Incredible Hulk. Martin Starr shows up and plays like a computer nerd. That's literally what it's credited as. And then they go, by the way, that teacher that he plays in Spider-Man Homecoming, that's the same character.
That was him.
Wasn't it a villain? You talking about the guy whose head gets all huge, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Like Martin Starr is like a deadpan comedic actor from like Silicon Valley and stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But there is somebody...
He's one of the teachers in Homecoming, or all the Spider-Man movies.
Okay,
with the glasses,
Yeah, the long hair. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Anyway, Riri Williams, who we'll talk about a little later, is getting an Ironheart series coming out in the fall next year. Agatha Harkness has her own show, Coven of Chaos.
Another one that
year?
That's in winter of next year. And then
sure, why not?
You gotta wait a while for
She's
Daredevil.
a scene stealer. Really like her. I'm kind of like, what are we doing with this show? That's
what I mean. I'm like, that's it's same as the other one. I was just talking about the Echo or whatever. I was like, all right, I like that character,
I mean, I'll take more, but like, weird choice.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
This one's solely gonna obviously focus on witches, with it being Coven of Chaos, but I feel like we covered that with her flashback in WandaVision. So I don't.
Yeah, I don't. Is that what this is gonna be too? Is like
that's what it seems like to me.
We know what that story. Whatever.
We know what that is, and she's dead now, so who cares?
Right.
Or she's brainwashed or whatever. That's
what it was.
They like brain, carbonated or I don't know.
Yeah.
Unless it's after.
Yeah.
Brain carbonated.
So yeah, the Daredevil thing we mentioned, that's not coming out until spring 2024. Sorry, guys. But either shortly before or after that, Captain America 4 is coming out. New World Order. I don't know what this arc is in the comics. Stop following the comics at that point. I can't remember what happened.
Is there a New World Order comic?
I think there is. I think there is.
I might look into it just to see.
Well, yeah, this is Sam Wilson, Captain America, and they got the same writer from the show, Malcolm Spellman, who he was a head writer for the show. And I think I remember watching the Assembled, the documentary about Falcon and Winter Soldier. Malcolm Spellman knows a crap ton about Sam Wilson Falcon, in Captain America. He is like a freaking expert on the guy. I think he actually might have written the comics, but he knew so freaking much about this character, and I'm like, wow, that's a perfect guy to write the movie if they ever do one. And then boom, he's I think he's directing it or something.
Cool.
Or no, he's not directing it. Julius Ona is. He did Luce, which Luce.
Ooh, I like that movie. Yeah.
Yeah, which is great. Came out again in 2018. That's a great movie. 2019. Sorry, but yeah, that's a great movie. And he also did Cloverfield Paradox, but we don't really talk about that.
I mean, it's not the garbage that everyone says it is.
Is that the space one? Is that the space one?
Yeah.
I thought that was a fun movie.
Thank you. That's fun. 3 out of 3, everybody. We're changing the story. We're changing the story. A good old.
Yeah, that's Paradox. A once-in-a-lifetime experience, that movie, because they said after the Super Bowl it's dropping, and all of us watched it with zero expectations, so all of us had a different reaction to it, which was really fun.
Yeah. I immediately thought of the Philadelphia Project, which is one of my favorite urban legends, where like they skip universes and like all the sailors like meld into like the ship or whatever, and that's what that movie is about. Paradox, like that.
Yeah, it's something really like gross, terrifying things.
It is body dysmorphia, like at its highest. Like if you don't want to see people merging with ships.
We do know that we know that Phase 5 ends with Thunderbolts, which is a Suicide Squad type team up movie.
I'm so excited for this.
Dude, I'm so freaking pumped for this to be
New World Order. I know like Captain America movies have kind of like the rap of like moving the world forward a lot. You know, like with Winter Soldier and Civil War, both of those are like rippling movies that are like almost feel like bigger events than maybe some of the other entries in the series. Maybe New World Order will be like that, but I think this is going to be the movie that like really like moves things forward and feels big and stuff like that. It's going to be a team up movie, and like
I do feel like New World Order could I feel like New World Order New World Order. Wow. Sorry, it's wrestling. Sure. But I feel like that movie is going to set up the place that the MCU will be in for them to need to assemble a supervillain squad. Like something's going to happen in Captain America.
Yeah.
That's going to lessen the ability even more so of heroes to step up. That they're going to have to
the Thunderbolts act as a completely different wild card that act outside of that like rule set. I love it. That's totally happening.
But totally it does seem out of character for. I know that William Hurt's dead now, so they'll probably have to recast the role. But it does seem out of character for Thunderbolt Ross, the general, to do something like this. So he would have to be desperate.
Can I throw my theory out? I think that he is actually dead, like going forward, and Val is doing this in a misplaced idea of like honoring him. Like this is what he would have wanted, you know, and like that's why it doesn't match up because like they're not in a recast. Disney doesn't like recasting people for whatever reason.
Yeah,
even though it's happened before, but like you know, and like when people die, like Chadwick Boseman and stuff like that, they feel like they want to honor those roles now.
Right.
So like I think he'll stay dead, and like that's why they introduced Val to kind of act, who in the comics also kind of acted on Thunderbolts, like behest to put a team together. So
they could always, you know, we're in the multiverse saga, so they could always just be like, Variant, come over here. You're new T'Challa. You're new Thunderbolt Ross. Like
that's what I
no big deal. They could be that.
I'm totally expecting like Michael B. Jordan to come back as like Variant T'Challa or Killmonger to be like, I'm the new Black Panther man.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
Like I think it's totally happening. You know, so.
Well, so with Thunderbolts, they're traditionally led, at least in the comics that I read of it. A few of the runs have Zemo as the leader, and I think that's why he got such a huge highlighted role in the Falcon and Winter Soldier show.
I do too.
So I'm really excited to see that because that actor just seems to fit right in with that role.
I'll never forget that dancing scene. It's lit the world.
So much fun, dude. He finally. I was like, this is the Zemo I wanted. Like,
he's kind of weird and like off-putting, but like a diabolical genius.
Capable, you know? And when he puts on the mask, I'm like, like it's just such a cool moment. So I feel like
that's why I can't hate that show. I was like, there's so much good Zemo, dude. Like
that's true. That's true. We got so much good Zemo. So many good gifts from that too. From him. But so I feel like he's going to be in it, and then you're going to have probably U.S. Agent, who was the horrible Captain America. It was the
I
horrible.
love, dude. I'm super into Kurt Russell's son, like playing this role, dude.
He's
like
so
I
awkward,
love,
but, like,
he's such a weird heel character, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I love him.
Just
man.
broke ass Captain America was just
Yeah.
he's just
Pretty
his
much.
face, like
Yeah,
when
just doesn't work
when
at
it showed
all.
him standing there, like it's like
Yep.
not Chris Evans, like come
Yeah,
on.
no, he looked so weird when the mask was
Right.
on,
Yeah.
and like I was totally here for all of it because like it was supposed to feel wrong. That's like
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
literally the whole point of the
Yes.
character. It's like everything about it just no. Ugh. And so when people were like, "I hate this," I'm like, "That's the
Yeah.
point. Like you're
Yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
feel that." But now he's his own like U.S. agent. It becomes his own character. So
Right,
like you're gonna
right.
see him have
And he does
some
have
sort of
Captain
identity
America
arc, you know?
tendencies, but he's willing to go the extra mile and like
Oh yeah.
obviously
Yeah.
decapitate people with a shield or whatever. But like
yeah.
he's willing to go that extra step without any questions. So I feel like he's going to be in it. Maybe Elena Belovin will be in it.
I think
Florence
so.
Pugh.
Yep.
Maybe, but she's kind of leaning towards good now.
Yeah, but they set her up at the end of Black Widow. You know, like I feel like
they did.
a conversation
and then Hawkeye
happened.
and then I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, she's fine. But Abomination, they're definitely setting up for this. They
Yeah.
have to be including Abomination.
so.
He's doing way too much work with heroes suddenly,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah.
in She-Hulk as well. So like,
He's like a
clearly-
main Hulk villain too. Like,
yeah,
he
he
is.
is, and I'm glad
Yeah.
they kept him around, dude. I'm really glad because
That's a good salvage.
Tim
yeah.
Roth is awesome.
Tim Roth
So-
is very awesome. That is a fact.
So that's all of Phase 5. Actually, I think I left out a couple movies. I left out Ant-Man, Quantumania, which is February 2023. That has the debut performance.
Yep.
It's technically the first time we're going to see Kang, this variant of Kang.
Yeah.
Right.
And he is, you know,
He's got the
Thanos-like entity for this, for the
He's
MCU
another
and the saga.
purple bad guy is what
Yeah.
he is. It's Lazy Jeff is what it
They didn't make him. They didn't make him blue like the comics in this. They they made his helmet blue, so if he wears his full gear, he looks like Kang.
Yeah.
But instead, they just opted to have the actor play the act because why not? He's great. He's great as is. He's an attractive human being. Jonathan Majors is going to be a huge freaking deal after all these
Hot
movies.
damn, he is such
well,
a
he's going to
talented
be
guy.
doing so many different personalities because there's so many different Kangs that he's going to be.
We are
That is
about to
the
get a
entire-
dynasty of them. In fact.
Yeah, that's the entire basis of the Dynasty and Secret Wars. He has such a huge part in those.
Yeah.
But like, I'm really excited for this, man. And they recast Cassie Lang, Scott Lang's daughter, with a known actor because she's
remember,
gonna
guys,
be.
because Disney never recast characters. I just said that.
Never,
They never do that. Yeah.
So they recast it with
Right.
Catherine Newton, who looks nothing like the actor that they used in Endgame. And that's because, well, first off, she can get fit. She's got abs that are ridiculous. And she's going to be wearing the suit. She's going to be another superhero alongside Ant-Man and Wasp.
We're doing it. We're setting up Young Avengers, man.
There we go, man. Young Avengers. Yes, absolutely. I feel like that's going to be a Phase 6 thing, but they're maybe a show. Probably a show. I feel like they'll do that as a show, not a movie. Because it's like it'll be like small stakes.
Yeah.
You know, let's go solve this really small crime or whatever.
Right.
You know,
Zemo's being really rude. Maybe that's who the guys are in Zemo. Maybe that's
Zemo
really
just
rude.
catcalled somebody. We gotta.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And then he starts dancing.
His butler murdered someone again. You know.
And then starts dancing again, right? Like.
Yeah.
Oh man, Guardians Volume 3 sounds like an emotional experience. They showed some footage to the crowd, and the cast got really emotional at seeing it.
We haven't seen it yet. We
haven't seen it yet. Adam Warlock is in this one.
Yep.
God, who else is in this one?
Dude, that guy looks so yoked. Like,
for sure.
That's the guy from We're the Millers,
right?
Yeah,
He looks like a god. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
He looks like an Adonis god. It's crazy.
He was in that Dope Sick show about the opioid crisis, and he like had a scene where he was like putting on a shirt, and I was like, Jesus, he's already working out.
He's already working out. Yeah,
he's already working out.
It takes 3 years to get in Disney shape. Yeah.
I can't wait, dude. I can't wait for this movie. It's gonna
Adam Warlock is a huge deal.
Yeah,
they finally cast Cosmo, the space dog. We're gonna get Cosmo.
Yeah.
It's Maria Bakalova. It's the girl who played Borat's daughter in the sequel.
They made Cosmo a girl.
I can't wait, dude.
I'm so excited for that. Yeah.
That character is so good. Like, it's so serious and deadpan and like dramatic.
I was so excited to have it have such a big role in the game because I was like, everyone's finally getting to see why everyone cares about this like cosmonaut like dog. Like,
Cosmo's only been a cameo in these 2 movies so far.
Yeah,
so, like, this is gonna be fantastic. I can't wait, dude.
Howard the Duck's gonna. I don't know if that's true.
They're all gonna die, right? I mean.
He keeps saying that it's the end. I don't know what that means,
Or they're just like locked away in some like pocket dimension. Like, I mean,
it could be.
I don't know. I feel like they're gonna leave him on for like cameos and like the Secret Wars and stuff like that. You give these guys like
bug just flew
5 years off, and you come back for a big movie.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
I feel like Secret Wars. We can get to the big ones now. So.
Well, you forgot Miss Marvel's. Which phase is that?
Miss Marvel's already.
Or not Miss Marvel's.
Captain.
The Marvels.
The Marvels.
The Marvels.
For some reason, they didn't show that at all.
They didn't talk about it, so it's not in that.
You're right. That's in Phase 5. That is in Phase 5.
Okay. Well, so I'd seen. I don't know if I was scrolling through Facebook, and obviously some douche with with their phone recorded like a snippet of showed like Cap. New Captain America talking to Miss Marvel, and then you could see off to the corner he was talking to Captain Marvel, and then Miss Marvel you could see off to the corner also like kind of like ribbon on him a little bit. So I don't know if that was the Marvels or if that was New World Order, but
they wouldn't have
something.
They wouldn't have any footage for New World Order yet.
Okay, because that's too far down the line. That's too far down.
Yeah, that's too far.
Yeah. So there was something.
They're filming the Marvels right now.
So it must be from that then.
Maybe. I haven't heard of any footage being released for that. So we know that Phase 6
cam footage.
Yeah.
Probably. We know that Phase 6 will start with Fantastic Four. Still no director for that. I feel like D23 will have a director selected. Or maybe before then.
I want to double down on if they don't get Doctor Doom right.
Just fold up shop.
Have to. You just have to. You have to get him right.
So Doctor Doom's going to be a woman, right? This is going to be.
This might be, and I please, audience don't take this. This might be the one time I don't do that. Like, usually I don't care. Usually I'm all about whatever, man.
Kyle,
I'll be open-minded about it. If you don't do that, please. Yeah, Doctor Doom needs to be like.
Needs to be an egotistical dude.
He needs to be like that. There's the whole point of like he is the male ego incarnate with superpowers. That's like what he is, the embodiment of evil men. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, and like I think it's important that like, and he's powerful. You just have to make sure he's comic book right. Like, this is the one character to please get right.
Yeah.
You can make him a forever bad guy. You know what I mean? A Lex Luthor type. Like, he is Marvel's Lex Luthor.
And I do feel like that's the purpose of this, to drive him and Kang teaming up together, and because then they announced that 2 Avengers movies are coming out the same year, and all the VFX artists worldwide cried.
I think some never woke up the next morning, to be honest.
Yeah, exactly. But you have the first one is Avengers Kang Dynasty, which is obviously all about Kang and his variants taking over the entire universe. That's coming out May 2nd, 2025. And then Secret Wars coming out in November. That's going to cap the Phase 6, the entire saga. It's going to wrap it up. That is such a convoluted story that there's no way.
It's a reason just to have fun fights. You know what I mean? Like,
everyone fighting everyone.
As I elevator pitch, it's like someone decides, I'm going to create a world called Battle World, and all the variants of every world are going to come on this world, and whoever survives at the end of it just gets to live in one.
That
you know what I mean? Like, that's
familiar,
kind of like the long and the short of it. So it's like, by the end of this, we're going to have like new variants of everybody,
right? Basically,
there's actually in that arc, there's an army of Thors. Like,
Thor, some are cyborg
Thor army, and there's like a ton of Thors that just
So basically, this is
Civil War's the one with the Thor cyborg. I'm sorry, never mind. That's Civil War.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is just a way for them to be like, all right, all you actors that are still hanging around with your contracts, and you're done.
Well, and cameos, they can bring back some actors that that allegedly that died on screen, and they could just bring it back for a little cameo.
Start the cycle,
everything's going to be open, and like we're so far down the line like, with that movie coming out, that like they can still be like working on these relationships to like have some people come back. And if they don't, you can cast new ones because they're variants. It doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, you can cast anybody. Like
you better believe we're getting that. Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise. Yeah.
You better believe it. That's happening.
The fact that it was a rumor for Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
So it was like a hardcore rumor. Like people talk about it a lot. Does make me think that Marvel is genuinely trying to do that.
Yeah, I think.
So I do feel like
everything's on the table.
Throwing this out there, Nick Cage as Iron Man.
No. If anything, they bring him back as Ghost Rider.
Ghost Rider.
I forgot. Yeah.
They bring in Chris. Oh man, imagine the crowd going ape shit over Chris Evans coming back as Human Torch. Like that.
Yeah, that
would lose it.
Oh my god,
they would lose it.
Said that recently, where he's
like
I'd love to
have him like interact with like somebody that knew him as Captain America. They'd be like, Steve, and he'd be like, who the hell's Steve? And then he'd just like light up.
Yeah.
That'd be so amazing.
So there's potential. Disney, if you don't do that, you're done. You're done.
You're done.
That one's a freebie.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Marvel.
And Chris Evans said he doesn't want to do Captain America. Fine, let him do Human Torch.
No, he literally said he would love to do a Human Torch again. Like he had said that recently. Yeah.
And you know who said he wanted to do Ghost Rider? Ryan Gosling.
Of
all freaking people.
Yeah.
And I would see that.
Kevin Feige said, I would love to cast him as something.
Yeah.
So it's like those talks are happening. Like there are talks going down, dude.
Yeah, dude.
You don't think that Kevin Feige is going to try and make this bigger than Endgame,
Oh,
sure.
You don't think that like he has totally like aspirations to make this Endgame squared,
That's for sure.
That's his whole
Battle World is going to be a shit show.
Dude, it is going to be a mess, and I love it.
I can't wait.
It's going to be so good.
Can't wait, dude.
I can't believe this is like the one that
people
they went
that
to next.
apply logic to try to apply logic, like real world logic, to the MCU movies, like in Civil War and Endgame. They are gonna hate this movie. They're gonna hate Secret Wars.
Yeah, we're in a now that we've introduced like the multiverse, like
saga?
we're into some weird non-roly rule, stuff. So.
I do wonder though, what is the arc after that? Like
X-Men versus Avengers would be nice.
Is that what it? Yeah. So would it be the mutant saga?
Right?
Like they just make the entire saga mutants? Because that would be cool. That would be really cool, actually. But I just wonder,
give everybody a break.
How do you stretch that out over 3 phases, which seems to be their thing? That's my only question about that.
Well, it could be like X-Men are gonna verse Avengers, right? But then there's a big bad that then is sort of
that's how it happens. Yeah. I'd be here
in the shadows.
Yeah, but I feel like they can do that in one movie. They don't need an entire saga or phase for that.
But they will make an entire saga.
Oh, they will.
They might. Yeah.
They might, and just do like solo movies. You guys wanted the Jubilee movie.
Here it is, everybody. Yeah. We got Brenda Song to play Jubilee.
You that Toad guy? That Toad guy? He's
back with his own movie. Ray Parks is playing him.
You know that guy Toad? Wrap your tongue on this. You know what happens when a toad gets struck by lightning? Boom! There's a movie.
Halle Berry shows up to tell that joke again. Yeah.
Halle Berry's like, do I have to put this wig on again?
Everybody don't laugh too hard because the great David Hayter wrote that joke because he wrote that movie. And we can't hate on Solid Snake, okay? So everyone just move on, all right? Even though that movie is one of the worst written movies.
Yeah.
It's entertaining, but like, boy.
It's entertaining, but yeah, the writing
like when
terrible.
People like say words, it's like, oh, dude, okay.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough.
I mean,
I hope that was one of the other writers and not Solid Snake.
The Last Stand, though, is pretty bad.
Very.
The Last Stand is pretty bad.
Yeah. It peaked
Ratner?
at 2 for sure.
Yeah, with
Ratner. X2 is like the best of that era until I love First Class so much.
First Class is good, but man, X2 is awesome.
Yeah, dude, it's good. It's real good.
Yeah.
God. So that's where it ends, but that's where Phase 6 ends at least in the entire saga. But we still got Black Panther, Wakanda Forever to talk about, which we have talked crap about that movie like on this show because of production woes, and why wouldn't you? See
loud.
If you see the news, you're like, oh, I don't know about this movie, man. So obviously our expectations were pretty low.
Yeah.
But I think it helps seeing like the visualization of certain things, like in Hall H, for example, and they put this up on YouTube, where they had like this tribe come out and sing a Wakandan, like, it's not Wakandan, but like African chant or something, and do a dance, and then the cast came out, and it was like seeing that just reminded me like, oh yeah, that's right, this is gonna be awesome. Like It's like I forgot.
They're nailing the vibe and like sort
Yeah.
of, you know, like this. Those felt like people from like the Wakandans like civilization, and just kind of like an homage to sort of like it felt like it was part of that. You know, like that was really cool.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna see if I can share. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, I have it. I have it right here. I mean,
okay, go ahead.
See if
I swear to God, if it stutters one iota, Dan, you are never doing this podcast again.
I will. Listen,
and I will burn.
Who's gonna make your thumbnails? Who's gonna make your thumbnails? Who's gonna?
I will burn Utica to the ground.
I will burn. I like Dwight in that one. I need to do something to her eyes. when he sneaks. Hi, we are warehouse workers. All right,
cut a chunk out of my penis for nothing. All right. Sorry, random office quotes. Sorry.
Stop! You're gonna make me spray. All right. Let me know if the volume's okay.
I can hear it.
Yeah, I can hear it.
Oh man, just from that first few notes, I'm like.
Is it too loud?
A little loud. Yeah.
You can turn it down a little bit. Yeah.
Good.
It might be good.
Yeah. Maybe even a little more.
I mean, the song is important.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
Sorry for the quiet. For all the podcast listeners, we are watching the trailer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Namor stuff.
Oh yeah.
Baby Namor.
He's gonna be in this movie so much more than they're leading on.
And he's a mutant, so this is important that you know, like with what's happened recently in a certain show. Like,
is he?
This is he's a mutant. He's considered a mutant amongst the people. He's one of the first mutants ever introduced to the entire MCU or Marvel Comics proper.
See, that scene with her in the fire makes me think, oh, they're setting her up to be Black Panther.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Did you see how there was water all in the throne room? So like they flood, like Wakanda gets flooded. Like, and that throne room is on the top of a mountain, so it's like
there's clearly a war going on here.
Yeah, a tidal wave has to come in and flood all of Wakanda. So. Ironheart action.
Oh man,
the build up here is.
Yeah, with the Kendrick Lamar
here's
song
the
too.
You see the flooding there. Yeah, the transition between both songs.
Yeah, it's unreal.
One song and another,
And they're gonna go fight them at their territory.
They took a ship out to go like meet them in the water. Yeah. Dude,
yeah. God,
just talk about doing a complete like 180 on a movie. Like
I super didn't care about this movie until I saw this trailer. So
exactly.
It was really hard to get excited about it when you were hearing just all the turmoil and stuff.
That might have been like I think that's like my 6th time seeing that trailer. I watched it so many times.
I've watched it like 20 times. But to be fair, because of the song, and it's just like, it just gets me like, it gives me freaking goosebumps, dude. I'm like, God damn, this is so good. It's just
so brilliant. It's so brilliant how that works with both Kendrick Lamar's song, All Right.
Yes.
And with what happened with Chadwick and like the story they're trying to tell in the movie with the family going through grief and stuff like that and the country grieving. And then they have the one spoken line be Ramonda, the queen, say, I have not given enough. Like
my family is gone.
Yeah.
Have I not the only spoken line, and then it's just more imagery. It's all imagery and just that one spoken line. And everything's gonna be all right, which is like it's like, okay, it is gonna be all right.
Yeah,
you know, it's just like, God damn, like Jesus.
And the cast was like, much like the Guardians cast, where like they were getting a little emotional.
Yeah.
I mean, they were just hugging you like after the trailer, because that was the first time the actors were seeing this stuff.
Yeah,
like,
they hadn't seen that trailer.
They hadn't seen any of this stuff. That goes for all the footage. But like, so like that was the first time seeing the trailer, and then like as the lights come up, they're all just hugging each other and crying. Like, it's just. It's night and day compared to the first time they saw the trailer for the first movie, where they were just hype. Chadwick jumped up and like he was just hugging like Ryan Coogler, like, and they were just like, oh snap, look at that. Like they were so hyped about that first trailer for the first movie. And this one is just like a cry fest. And I'm like, none of us are prepared for this movie. Like on an emotional level.
It's gonna be an emotional wreck.
It's gonna be devastating. Yeah.
I can't. I'm probably not pronouncing her name correctly. Is it Denai Gurira?
Denai.
Oh, the girl from Walking Dead.
Something like that. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah. So I watched like a separate little interview that she was doing at Comic-Con with the actress that's playing Ironheart, and she was talking about how, and maybe this is what the turmoil was that people were discussing behind the scenes, but not really going into specifics of like maybe it wasn't so much like issues with script or like I don't know, but it was probably just like the emotional toll that trying to film this movie was on these actors was perhaps maybe making
they all had a similar story, even ones back in like months ago where it's like this has been a really hard production, where like emotionally, like what you're saying,
she was saying like, so all of these new actors that came in, the one that's playing Riri Williams, like just this new family. She was talking about this new family and how they were like so understanding and like kind of like supporting them and kind of like, lifting them up and like being aware. And it's like, just talking about how important they were. It's just
Ryan
like
Coogler probably runs a great set, man.
Yeah.
He's
I bet.
Like a real professional. That,
and I know that Letitia Wright, I feel like we definitely on like Twitter at least blew up Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri. Maybe blew up some of that out of proportion, but she did say some dumbass stuff. So
she's
fair to hold her accountable.
Yeah. I mean, she's said other dumb stuff too, but like
she's one of those people that says something anti-vax and goes, "I'm just asking questions." And I know we're gonna have a lot of listeners that, not a lot, but a few that go, "Well, yeah, I was just asking questions," but no, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing when you do that.
And like, and
so
Disney,
people were just replying to that type of stuff to her in kind, like they were just like, not kindly, but like they were just replying back.
Yeah. It's never really kind.
They were just kind of trying to hold her accountable, in their opinion, to the messaging that she was getting out there, because she's super famous, So like, there's that, and then the fact that Disney was like, no, everybody's got to get vaccinated like everywhere, and then like that turned into a whole thing that people speculated she was holding up production because she refused to do that. Yeah. But I don't think Disney applied that to actors. They couldn't give a shit. If you're an actor, you're probably fine.
Yeah, I think that there's probably some like
I think it's for like the key grip or whatever. It's not for like the star of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously there's been the speculation because there is the one scene right there at the end where it shows someone donning the suit, the Black Panther suit, and it's like, well, is it Shuri? Is it this? And it's like, I don't know. Like to me, and maybe it's just like the angle of it. So like there's that trickery, and they want you to question it. But like when I saw her on stage at that, what you just mentioned, how they all came out, like she's like unbelievably skinny,
very skinny.
So like when I'm comparing it to that like that portion of the body that they're showing, I'm like, that can't be her. But I mean, maybe, I don't know, again, maybe it's a weird angle. Maybe she bulked up from the movie and then now she's kind of lost some of that
I think it's Lupita Nyong'o's character, if I had to take a guess.
Sure.
I think the trailer opens with her and closes.
That's what I was watching a video of.
And it closes like with like I think there's some, and that's just a guess. I'm just using like basic imagery.
The composer,
that was her lover. So
it was her lover, and she believed in like what they were doing.
She always believed in fighting for Wakanda. She just went about it through spy means instead of
well, and she came from a different tribe and stuff like that too. So it's like they have all those different cultures like within Wakanda, and I feel like that's who it's going to end up being. That's just a guess, and I'm not I don't think that that's a stint in the comic books, whereas Shuri is
so I thought the movie, or at least the trailer, and maybe they're telegraphing it this way in the trailer on purpose as a misdirect, but I felt like the trailer was showing you that Shuri is having the hardest time with this.
Yeah,
and then eventually something happens where the queen thinks she dies because
because she says my entire family,
and then she's gonna pull a T'Challa at the end of the first movie and come back in the suit at the end.
Right.
Or maybe I think I mentioned to you guys, just make a Black Panther army, put all the women in the suits. Like, I mean,
why not? Yeah, who cares?
Screw it.
Well, it could even be like
that'd be amazing.
It could be in the first half. Maybe Shuri does don the suit, but then like she just can't handle it. So then maybe she gives it to
Nakia.
Who you-
What Jeff is
Nakia.
pitching
Oh,
is
yeah,
the
it would be
clean-
great,
What
too.
Jeff is pitching is the cleanest, of the story.
Just do several of them?
Takes. Well,
set-
no, but just like where
Oh,
she
the
dies
most
and comes
obvious
back.
one,
Yeah,
where-
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah,
right.
well, not even
Yeah,
the
yeah.
most obvious, but like the cleanest. I feel like that's the
Well,
cleanest
yeah,
way. to tell
I
the
only say
story.
obvious because they kind of did a version of that in the first one where T'Challa, they thought he died when he fell off
He
the
gets
cliff.
thrown off the
Right,
And
right,
then,
right.
and then M'Baku just put him on ice because that's how that works. And
Yeah, obviously.
the ice is keeping him alive.
It's Wakanda nice, man.
Yeah.
It's got
Wakanda-
So,
his-
yeah, it's
Wakanda
kind of
nice.
nice. Okay, you can't.
Yeah.
A meteor hit the place, and now the
Yeah,
ice.
you just
They got
asked
nice
the wrong
ice.
questions, you know?
They got nice ice.
They got nice ice.
They got nice ice. Yeah. Hey,
You
I'm
know where
Bill Burr.
ice? You know where ice goes real good? In a
What?
bottle of water.
It's probably pretty hard to put a piece of ice in a bottle of water.
A nice, fresh, cool bottle of water on a hot summer day.
Sometimes the nozzles are a little too narrow to put ice in a bottle of water.
Yes. I'm going to
You
put
added-
the timestamp. I'm
Al
going to
added
put the
like 5
timestamp.
other syllables. A bottle of water.
I am so putting the timestamp for this, by the way. I'm putting the time-
As you should. That's why I said it.
And put round 2 or whatever.
the bottle of water saga. Bottle
Bottle of water saga.
That's what this season of Current Gen's about. It's about
Right.
the bottle,
There was,
bottle of water saga.
There, I will admit, with the San Diego Comic-Con thing, there were some great memes that came out about Kevin Feige presenting something on screen and then somebody superimposed something behind him that's ridiculous. Like,
Yeah.
like somebody
meme.
Oh, Mobius, right?
Somebody photoshopped.
Morbius saga. It was
Somebody
I saw.
photoshopped. We need to take a 5-year break. Everybody, chill out. And that was it.
Yeah,
and I was
yeah.
like, it's hilarious.
Yes. But Morbius
There was
saga
one
is.
that was,
Morbius
I shared.
saga, so that's funny.
I think I shared with you guys one that was like, we bought another zoo.
Yeah,
Oh,
about
yeah,
another
yeah.
zoo. Yeah.
Might as
Get
well.
ready, guys.
Might as well.
Oh, that freaking movie.
I had fun with it. I had fun with it.
Anyway, that's all I had for the show. That's all I had in the show notes.
That's
Very
it, we're done?
excited for the MCU. I think we're all.
Oh, didn't you ask us what our personal 3? Something
Yeah, do
top
you have
3?
your top 3 favorite movies that you know? I mean, off the top of my head, I can tell you. I'm not in
I'll
order.
just go on top of my head, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's like the true 3.
Yeah, Dan, do you know yours?
I mean, I jotted them down. I think I got it. I think this
Okay.
is probably pretty accurate. It's how I felt in the moment, anyways. So number 3 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
Okay.
Number 2 is Spider-Man No Way Home,
Ooh.
because stuff happens in that movie and it's amazing.
Yeah, you are a
Um,
Spider-Man fan too, so that makes
I,
sense.
I am a little bit of a Spider-Man fan, just a little bit. And then I went with number 1, Avengers Endgame. You know why,
Never heard of
Kyle?
it.
You know why,
Never seen
Kyle?
it.
Because I'm all about culminations.
Culminations. Yeah,
That movie is a culmination.
Yeah.
There's not enough bottled water in that one, but
No, definitely
yeah,
not.
it's good.
no.
Yeah,
Everyone's
that's
very
good.
thirsty. Everyone's very
So I think mine is number 3 is the first Avengers because it's just talk about culmination.
It
That
did
was it
did it.
should
Yeah.
not have worked
The first
way
culmination.
It did it.
how well it worked.
The-
first culmination.
And it still freaking holds up, dude. It's still so entertaining.
we don't talk about the director though. Don't say anything.
who directed it. I don't even know who directed it.
Don't talk about them anymore.
And then number 2 is the other Joss Whedon movie. No, it's
Avengers 2. Yeah.
yeah.
Ultron.
No,
Not
my
fast-
number 2
not
is
fast enough.
my number 2 was my number 1 for a long time, or at least for 3 years. Captain America: Civil War was my
Ah.
number 2. I just
Yeah.
love the bejesus out of that because I love the arc in the comics and like
Yeah.
what they're trying to say, like because they are trying to say something about government overreach and stuff.
right.
I felt like the movie kind of nailed that in its own way, in the MCU way, that like they made it make sense.
Black Panther
And-
first introduction too.
First introduction to him,
Yep.
first introduction to Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Spiderman.
In that whole airport fight scene is just so freaking great.
It's why
yeah.
we watch comic book movies. That's
Yeah,
why
exactly.
that is right
I
there.
still
And
get
that's Secret
chills
Wars.
when they're like,
that's what
they're running too. Should we start running too? Like,
Yeah.
and they're running at each other and they just start like it's just such a great. I get chills still watching that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's such a great moment. And then Endgame obviously is my number 1. It's easy, but you know I love.
Culmination.
I love that movie. So I still cry at the end of the movie. I've seen it like 10 times now, and every single time Tony snaps right after that, I'm like,
Yeah,
ugly
yeah.
crying. It's
Dude,
so
dude,
bad.
With the hammer and everyone behind him. Avengers Assemble.
Yeah, dude.
Yep.
And I still
Yeah.
love that they
Like-
did the well, first off, they made a joke on I can do this all day. which I thought was an amazing joke. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I know.
But then he shows it later when it's him versus a full army that's coming towards him, and he's got half a shield, which was for
Yeah,
whatever.
it was.
They alluded to that in Age of Ultron. The shield was broken.
He was seeing the future, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. More or less. But was it a self-actualizing prophecy? It was something that, you can be on the
Scarlet Witch. She was her weird red power at the time. I don't know.
Right, but Tony had this paranoia, this deep-seated paranoia about it to begin with.
Oh, yeah.
And maybe she made it happen. Maybe he made it happen in his own way.
Yeah.
Like,
I buy it.
Hey,
by over-preparing,
I buy it, yeah.
Do you know what Disney made happen? They made just a fierce woman scene happen. Just all the ladies.
All the
ladies.
The one.
All the single ladies.
Scene that ruined the movie. Yeah, that was great.
They all just happen to be right near each other.
Walked out. I was like, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for this stuff.
They all texting each other, "Hey, can you come over here?"
Yeah, right. Here, Doctor Strange is busy fighting a dam right now. Can you come over here and meet us?
Right.
We have someone to stop. Yeah, that's my favorite. Doctor Strange gets put on plumber duty. He's basically Mario.
Oh, I got the bug.
There you go. Kyle,
anyway, that's my top 3. I love Endgame. I love revisiting it. I love the time travel stuff. I think it's super fun. So yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
My third is Civil War because I really enjoy that movie as well. I feel like it's got some of the best superhero-y moments, and I think that when Cap and Winter Soldier are bullying Iron Man at the end, because the guy lost his parents, and they're both like, "We're gonna kick the shit out of you anyways." I thought it was super. At that moment, I was like, maybe
pretty much
Iron Man was right all along. I don't know, because I think the real Civil War wasn't about the Accords; it was about loyalty. You know what I mean? I think that it kind of reframed what the theme of that original story was into something a little more personal, and I think that works better on the small scale that the MCU was at the time. It's you weren't having the Civil War happen at that moment in time, in Marvel proper. But yes, that's my number 3. My number 2 would be Endgame. I love that movie. I think it's wonderful. I think it's just the culmination. Yeah. I think people who get hung up about time travel, you write a time travel story then. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not easy. It's
also, you know what?
It's a mess of plot holes.
Everything that happened in Endgame is being explained in the current saga, which in a brilliant way. It's like you get more details explaining it.
Yeah.
In every movie or show that comes out that has to do with timelines and universes, multiverses.
Yeah.
Also,
because what they did was they just traveled through the multiverse. That's all they did. They really ultimately ended up doing that.
Which isn't a real thing, because time travel, as far as we know, is not a real thing.
Yeah,
so trying to argue
everyone's a time travel master. They're like, I know exactly how it's supposed to work,
Right,
Dude, it's made up. It's a concept,
Yeah, exactly.
And I know it always gets messy. But anyways, Endgame a lot. I think it's great. My number 1 favorite, and it's been my number 1 for a long time, it's Captain America Winter Soldier. I think that movie is
awesome.
Absolutely aces.
Killer,
I think it's so spectacular. It's one of the first movies that have those big ripple effects across the MCU with Shield being exposed and stuff like that as Hydra, and just everything coming to light.
Hail Hydra. Hail
Hydra. The elevator scene's amazing. I know it's been memed. I know it's been memed to death now, but that. Does anybody want to get off? That's my Cap, bro. That's my Cap. That's my peak love of that character in that movie. Dude. Because he realizes that I woke up in an America that is not the America I was fighting for, and boy, I'm super not happy about it. And I really love how personal it is for him,
because especially back then, there wasn't that degree of overreach. But hey, Cap, I'm sorry, you fell asleep and you missed 9/11. You missed when people were content to kind of give up their privacy for security. So
he has a line where it's this is just ruling through this is ruling because of fear or through fear or whatever. He's like, that's what the Germans used to do, and it's
and he's not wrong. He's not wrong about the parallel. It's just you missed something. You missed a gap.
There's some context there for sure. I just like that movie a lot. I think some of the fight scenes are amazing. And
that thing that you mentioned in the elevator, where then afterwards he has to leave and he goes on a bike and he throws the shield at the flying thing and takes it out. and he jumps over it. It's so freaking
Remember
cool.
he grabs a helicopter and his biceps
wasn't he holding?
are like,
Yeah,
dude.
It's a Marvel
That was Civil
sexiest
War.
scene.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Civil War. Okay, my bad.
Yeah.
I like that movie a lot, and I'm all about getting as much Nick Fury as we can get always, and his whole entire scene, the chase scene, is like excellent. It's so
my gosh, dude.
It's like it's heart, it gets your heart racing,
Yeah, and he's like telling the car like it's got its own AI, so he's like giving it commands and stuff, and like you're not gonna like they're bashing on the window, and he's like trying to time when to pull up the Gatling gun from his center console apparently.
Yep.
He's like trying to time it like okay, it's at like 2% integrity or whatever, like now, and then he just starts like icing guys. It's so good.
It's super good. And also one of my top favorite things about the MCU is introduced in this, and it's Winter Soldier. Like I still like Bucky is like one of my favorite things about the MCU, the
brainwashed villain. I love that. Who went on like a spiritual journey, like who was given a second chance, and
White Wolf.
It's super cool. I like his whole story, and I think Sebastian Stan, like that's my introduction to this actor, and I think like he's one of my favorite actors. And I feel like his arc was even more beautiful to watch unfold in the show, Falcon and Winter Soldier. Seeing with him, like, now that he's no longer brainwashed and no longer capable of being brainwashed, he's having to process all this crap that he knew that he got away with, and he cannot move on.
Trying to go on a date, and it's like...
and like trying to reconcile with the dad of the son that he killed.
Yeah,
and, like,
that was heartbreaking.
Yeah, dude. And Hawkeye deals with some of that, too. Some of that grief or guilt. To a lesser extent,
Kids
obviously.
Of our fathers type of stuff,
But like... Man, I just love it when the MCU does stuff like that. Like, it's just some of my favorite moments are the depressing shit. Give me more depressing stuff. I'm gonna cry through the entirety of Wakanda Forever. I can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I can't wait.
It's gonna like the credits are gonna come up, and I'll hear Ludwig's score, his amazing score, and I'll be like, immediately.
That's what it's there for. That's what it's there for.
Is that Mando Ludwig? Is that the same guy?
Yeah. Ludwig Göransson, yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I think he's done every movie with Coogler. Like every movie that Coogler's, because they were roommates or something in college, so they've done everything together.
They pump up each other.
And I know that Ludwig, whatever. He also produced Childish Gambino's like first few records. Like that's why I did not know that. Gambino's got a few lines that's like, I got Ludwig. Like he name drops because he's a producer on the record. He made the beats and stuff. So
that's cool.
He's a super talented guy.
He is.
Anyway, that's enough chit chat. You guys are
all the words done.
Real gems of people for staying on this long to talk about nerdy crap. I appreciate it. The listeners probably don't appreciate it being this long, but I appreciate them if they made it this far. And that's all we got for this week. So stay tuned. Next week, we're going to talk more in depth about Xenoblade. Hopefully, I'll be able to make the show. I do have a concert on one of the nights we normally record. And I'm gonna go see. I'm gonna go see Bullet Train too. So
I'm excited for that.
I can't wait for that movie. Yeah.
Oh man, it's gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for that, and don't forget to like and subscribe and share and all that stuff, and watch some of Dan's Let's Plays. Watch them on Twitch.
So I'm gonna do because I'm off this week. I'm gonna do Final Fantasy VII Remake. So I'm gonna do a full playthrough of that. I'm gonna Twitch the 7 remake, and I'm considering doing. I don't like being a beggar, but my mom's cat. Not to get all sad. I know Jeff was just talking about being sad and crying. My mom's cat suddenly got hit with anemia, and literally had to go to like animal inpatient care. So like he had to get like multiple like blood transfusions, and now he has to be like on a steroid for like the rest of his life. He's like a 3-year-old cat. Like he still has so much life to live. Like it's bullshit. So now my mom's hit with this bill, and I kind of want to maybe do like a charity stream thing.
Yeah.
That'd be rad.
It feels weird because it's like I'm a new streamer, and I also just don't like that beggar energy, but it's like I want to help my mom, so like if that does help, then like please come.
This plays better than just like a Facebook post. You're actually doing something like, hey, I'm you come and interact with this thing if you have somebody around.
So I'm gonna do like a full, because I finished Stray, but I'm gonna do a full playthrough of Stray as kind of being like, hey, charity stream, and then like maybe people can come in and maybe donate to So
that'd be cool.
I love the idea.
I would appreciate that.
Yes. Great idea. All right. Well, stay tuned for more details on that, and whenever that's going to happen on like our Facebook or whatever, we'll post about it.
I'll probably do that on Monday.
So
when this goes up.
The day that this goes up, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. So for Dan, Kyle, and myself, we're out of here. We out. Big wiener.
Good.
Boobies.
Big wiener.
Goodbye.